Good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Welcome to our first podcast. This is Full Nerd Academia. Uh, First, you got me. My name is BankaiMerc.
And then I'm your co-host, Master D.Maito.
So, before we start our show, I just want to give a quick shout out to my boy who put me on to this Dr. See, I just got it the wrong way, but zero sugar, Dr. Pepper, strawberries and cream is one of the best drinks that I've had so far. Not gonna lie to you guys.
Yeah, man. Not sponsored or anything, but
No, not at all. But
yeah, I like Dr. Pepper, and that stuff was it was pretty good when it first came out. I remember having to try to go track it down everywhere. So you know,
yeah, the only part that sucks is that it does not come in a 2 liter. It's only cans.
and the 20 ounces, the little bottles that cost like $2 for one bottle.
All right. Off of
All
that
that
now.
aside, all that aside, so welcome to our inaugural episode of Full Nerd Academia. Basically, what we're going to be doing here is we're just going to be chatting about a bunch of stuff, anything nerdy in the news, things that we like, talking about all kinds of stuff, maybe deep dive on a few things. For the most part, though, this week it's going to be all about SDCC. A little bit of reviews here and there for some of the stuff that we've been seeing lately, but for the most part, a big chunk of this is going to be SDCC news. But yeah, I mean, before we start off on the news, we're just going to give you guys quick intros into ourselves. So as I said, my name is Master D.Maito. Big nerd, as you can see. I love some Deku. I love all kinds of stuff, anime related, anything MHA related. As far as like some of my like favorite nerd things, favorite Marvel characters, probably Spider-Man. Outside of Spider-Man, it's probably like Wolverine or Nightcrawler. Favorite DC character is probably Batman. Other than Batman, it's Nightwing. Favorite anime right now is My Hero, but of all time, it's definitely Full Metal Alchemist. It's definitely like my all-time favorite. Like I go back to it constantly. I rewatch it all the time. Other than that, one of my favorite movies of all time is Dark Knight. Um, at least that's like one of my favorite nerd movies. Uh, Outside of that, I mean, Forrest Gump is like my absolute favorite movie. It's like one of those movies I just pop on and like feel good time, just like yeah, let's watch this. You know, this confused man do all kinds of crazy stuff along the way in history and stuff. So it's pretty great. Uh, but enough about me. What about you, sir?
So my favorite Marvel character, same Spider-Man, but so I can't really start with a specific, but I'm gonna say specific. My specific is Miles Morales because it's relatable to me. We're both Black Puerto Rican, uh, but it's just funny because it's flipped. He moved from Brooklyn to Manhattan, and for me, it's the opposite. I went from Manhattan to Brooklyn. Um, but favorite DC, of course, the GOAT, Nightwing. I don't care what nobody say. He's always been my favorite since he was Robin. So people would think it's weird that I don't like Batman, but I like Robin or Nightwing. My second favorite would be Robin, who is Damian Wayne.
Damian Wayne Robin. Yeah, I know that.
Yeah. So anime, I have too many I love. One Piece is like my favorite right now. Favorite character on there is definitely Zoro. One thing you're gonna learn about me is that I love like the whole samurai, ninja background. So like I like One Piece, Naruto, Shippuden. I started watching this one show called Sengoku. Something with the samurai. I forgot the exact name, but pretty good so far. I'm only on the first episode. I didn't get too far into it. Um, if you ask me like my favorite character, like One Piece, not One Piece, anime wise, Lord Fourth. If you
Right.
know, you know. Lord Fourth is definitely if you know, you know. Um, and then I would say, you know, I'm gonna have to give a sleeper. I mean, people talk about it. People do put it in there. Like I don't want to say top five, but I'm gonna have to say Kahlua. Kahlua is one of my favorites.
Oh,
If
from Hunter x Hunter.
yes, Kalu was my guy.
Yeah, he's pretty sick. He was like in a death battle recently. He lost, but I was pulling for him. I really thought he was going to end up winning that thing, but
Who did
he's pretty sick.
who they had him fighting?
Mikasa, I think, from a certain scientific railgun.
Oh, so I never watched that, so I can't say. But Kalu, nah, they see that's what I'm saying. Like people sleep on Kalu. Like he was definitely probably one of the best characters on Hunter x Hunter.
It's insane. Dude was raised from birth to be an
And then
assassin.
yeah, exactly.
Bastards.
And but I'm definitely with you there. But Brotherhood, that's my go-to. That's like one of my go-tos too. I was actually gonna watch it last night, but I was too tired. I didn't want to put it on and just have it just running.
Right, yeah. Nah, that's one of those shows where you have to sit and watch it every time.
Mm-hmm. But
And even if
Mustang,
it's on in the background, like you're at least sitting down and like having an eye like, oh, I remember this episode.
yeah, exactly. But yeah, off of that show, my guy is definitely Roy. Roy Mustang with the
Roy
snaps.
Mustang.
Yes,
Yeah, he's
sir.
pretty sick. He
And
is
Hawkeye.
definitely one of the sickest. Riza Hawkeye is cool. My
I'm biased
favorite
too because I love the Hawkeye name.
my favorite aside from Ed and Al, uh oh, man, uh Major Armstrong was really
Hmm.
dope, but then his sister was
Oh
even
my
cooler.
God, yo, she was a beast.
Olivier Armstrong, bro, she was insane. Insane. So
Yeah, I'm definitely watching that later.
yeah.
I gotta find it, but it's definitely gonna be watched.
Um yeah, dude. Well, I think we got our intros out of the way for now. So why don't we just, start right off and just slip into some what we're gonna call old news. Uh, so this old news is just mainly going to be stuff that we're talking about, kind of that's been out there already for a little while, hence the name old news. Um, the biggest thing, obviously, is going to be touching base on the WGA SAG strike going on right now in Hollywood, as well as I believe in New York. Um, Still going strong, obviously. It's part of the reason why a lot of stuff, why the SDCC news is a little slow, or at least like not as much volume as it has been in past years. Now, obviously, in the last couple of years, it was different mainly because of like the pandemic. So like the Comic Con wasn't nearly as like big or in depth as it has been in previous like 10, 15 years. But this year, because everything's still basically, everything's back open. I think the WGA strike definitely like caused a lot of people to pull back out of it. Meaning like the big like movie studios, especially like DC Studios, Marvel Studios, um, or just like a lot of other studios in general. Because there was not a whole lot of like movie news. There's a little bit of like TV news here and there, but Comic Con, at least according to a lot of the people who were there, was like old Comic Con where it's like all about comic books. It was about some video games, and then the biggest part of it too, or at least the biggest part that I paid attention to, was like all toys and stuff. So, but yeah, I mean, WGA SAG strike still going strong. Uh, do you have anything to say about that or add to it?
Uh, Not much. Just because it's happening, it's actually kind of frustrating because one movie I was definitely looking forward to was Blade. I know, we got Wesley Snipes. Wesley Snipes did a pretty good job. Um, but I can't remember. I'm not going to try to pronounce his name. He's done a great job. If you haven't known, if you haven't seen him, uh, he was in Daredevil. It was Daredevil. Yeah, it was Daredevil. He was in
Yeah.
Daredevil.
Oh, okay. You're talking about Mahershala Ali.
Yeah, I can't say. I'm not going to. That's what I said. I'm not going to try to pronounce his name. But he was in Daredevil as was it Snake? I forgot his name.
He was Cottonmouth.
Cottonmouth. Yes, there we go. I knew it was a snake, but did a great job. Definitely enjoyed his work. I know he had another movie that I never watched, but I was definitely looking forward to Blade. Of course, a lot of things were pushed back as well. Deadpool 3. I can't wait for that.
Right, right.
Yeah, but outside of
Uh,
that, not much.
so just to kind of touch on what the strike is all about, I mean, a couple of the things. I mean, the two biggest factors are um, streaming, in terms of like getting royalties from streaming or the lack thereof.
Hmm.
Basically, it's just that actors and writers want their dues from streaming, but streamers have thus been very like uh, negligent in terms of like trying to get people paid.
This sounds like
Um,
Black Widow.
like Black Widow.
Remember,
Oh,
she didn't
right,
get
because
paid
originally she didn't get paid, right, for the
by
movie.
being on stream. Yeah, for
Like
being
she
on
didn't get
stream.
her royalties because it didn't get released in theaters, so she didn't get any of that money because it
Hmm.
didn't get released in theaters. That's right. So it's something similar to that. There's that, and then as well, there's also the impending AI apocalypse, as it seems. It's
Yeah,
basically that where like AI is more or less kind of seems like people are afraid that AI may end up taking jobs away from people, which it definitely kind of seems that way. Um, I admire some AI art as much as any other person, but at the same time, like when you start using AI to help you create like concept art for shows, or the tone deaf freaking opening of Secret Invasion where they use all AI art as an opening uh, for uh for a TV show, like that's just taking jobs away from people. That's taking money out of their pockets, which is then taking food out of their families' mouths and stuff. And
hmm,
like being a fan of like this industry and everything, I feel like it's not right for people to you know basically have their livelihoods taken away because of AI. So it can be a good tool to use when used properly, but if it's taken out of control, then like things start spiraling. This is a slippery slope. But yeah, that's all I've really got to say about the strike. And I mean, from what I understand, it's still going on strong, and who knows when it'll end. Hopefully soon, because we'd all like to you know see the ball rolling for like our new favorite, all of our favorite movies and TV shows, as well. I know that all those people would like to get back to work. So, um, but enough of that. The other old piece of news, really, that I kind of wanted to touch on was going to be the Superman Legacy castings. Um, you actually were the one to send me that stuff first, and I was really interested and like kind of excited to see what that was all about. Um, what was really cool was just how many people they plan on putting in this movie. And I think a lot of people were kind of confused. It was like, well, is it a Superman movie or is it a Justice League movie? But um, I've recently heard somewhere that like because of what the movie's about, it's basically about, well, I mean, it's in the name, Superman Legacy. It's basically like Superman, how he connects to people, both like superhuman and non superhuman. So uh part of that is like the superhero community, aka like the Justice League. So we're getting like a mini Justice League in this movie, seems like, because we're getting Mr. Terrific,
hmm.
Hawk Girl, uh
Guy Gardner.
Metamorpho, and Guy Gardner Green Lantern. uh that's pretty sick. That's really cool. um Give me just a second here. I'm gonna pull up what I can. And 1 second here. So obviously we've since gotten our, like, the very first announcement was our for our Superman and our Lois. Superman is going to be played by David Corn Sweat. He's not anybody that I really know. I know that he's been in some things, but I think it's been mostly kind of minor type of roles. I could be wrong. Um, yeah, I mean, it's these all seem like it's definitely not anything that's ever been in our sort of like nerdosphere. But I mean, he definitely looks the part. You got the strong jaw, blue eyes, dark hair. He looks like a very young Henry Cavill.
He does. Skinnier
Oh,
version.
a skinnier version. Yeah, yeah, a little bit, a little bit. Um, then as far as who our Lois is, it's Rachel Brosnahan. Now she has been in a little bit more, and some stuff that I've heard of. The main thing being the Marvelous Miss Maisel. Um, as well as House of Cards. She was even in The Blacklist, which is a show on NBC or CBS, I believe. She's been in quite a few things. So I would say she's probably got a little bit more of a name for herself than Superman does. But aside from those two, because that's really, really old news, the biggest one that I was really like kind of chuffed about was the Guy Gardner casting, and that is good old Nathan Fillion. Now he wasn't necessarily the Green Lantern that I expected him to be, or that a lot of people expected him to be. A lot of people thought that he should be Hal Jordan, because honestly, he just kind of seems like a Hal Jordan to me. A little bit more upstanding, a little bit more, a little bit older for one, because Hal Jordan, especially nowadays in comics, is definitely up there in age. But I mean, the fact that he's playing a Green Lantern, that Nathan Fillion's playing a Green Lantern, period, is cool.
Mm-hmm.
It's again, the other reason why it's kind of wild that he's playing Guy Gardner is because he voiced Hal Jordan in a few like animated things for DC. So again, him playing Guy Gardner, a little weird, but at the same time, I could definitely see him playing kind of a little bit more of a jerky, like cocky Green Lantern.
Yeah.
I feel like his range could definitely do it.
So the funny thing is, they said that he's going to be sporting the bowl cut too.
Oh, really? See, I
Yeah.
hadn't read that. Him sporting bowl cut for real.
Yeah, they're gonna be sporting the bowl cut. That's gonna be funny to
Uh,
see.
that's gonna be really funny to see.
Now I'm looking at him. He reminds me of which I think is Batman Brave and the Bold.
Mm-hmm.
That he reminds me of that Guy Gardner. When you look at him and you think of the bowl cut on him.
I could kind of, if I can't imagine him with a bowl cut, but as far as like the face, even though that was a cartoon, the proportions of his face, I could definitely see as Guy Gardner.
Yeah, same. I had to bring that up because he looks. Now I'm looking at him. I'm thinking of him with a bowl cut. He really looks like Guy Gardner.
Yeah, a little bit. I could kind of see it now. Um, anything else about Nathan Fillion?
No, actually, I learned a couple things. I learned that him and James Gunn are actually best friends. They worked in a couple projects, excuse me, together as well. Guardians of the Galaxy, Suicide Squad, and there was another one.
Mm. Yeah, I'm not sure of the other one, but I definitely knew about the Suicide Squad and Guardians. He was in the most recent Guardians movie. He was in no, actually he was in the most recent one. He had a prominent role in this one, but then he was also in two, but not like he was in the first one too, I think. Now that I think about it. Now that I'm remembering, he's been in all three Guardians movies.
Mm,
He had he had a more prominent role, not like a big role within the movie, but you could actually see him. He had lines, all this stuff in the movie. In
yeah,
Guardians 3, he played like a guard or like the captain of like the guard on this planet. Um, he was just like there was a picture of him in Guardians 2. It was like a blink and you'll see it type of thing. He was playing Simon Williams, aka Wonder Man. Like he played him on a poster in Guardians 2.
okay,
And then in the first one, he voiced that big blue criminal in Nowhere.
Oh, okay.
In the prison when like the one that Groot goes and like puts the freaking like his twig or his vines up his nose to like get him off a quill.
Mm-hmm.
He voiced that guy. I don't think he played like I don't think they dressed him up. If they did, like I wouldn't know. Wouldn't remember, but he definitely voiced him. So he's been in all 3 Guardians movies.
Didn't know that.
And he was in Suicide Squad. He got killed right away.
Feels good when the brother doesn't die first.
I mean, yeah, it's always good, but I remember when that movie was first like cast and they were showing like the casting and everybody in like costumes and stuff. Everybody, I was like, oh wow, like it's a big cast. They plan on like giving all these people like lines and like all this stuff, and it was like, yeah, all these people are just gonna be chopped right up right off the gate, just chopped out of the movie, like opening scene basically, or scene 2. As soon as they hit the island, it was just like, but moving on from Nathan Fillion, we've got Edie Gathegi playing Mr. Terrific. Now, that was the other casting that I was like, I could freaking see it.
Mm-hmm. Me too.
For those of you who don't know, Edie Gathegi played, at least famously for me, anything that you would have seen, is he played Darwin in X-Men First Class, who got done dirty as hell.
Yeah, he definitely did. Definitely did. And then for the ladies, they said he's probably best known for his role as Laurent in the Twilight movies.
Oh, you're right. He did. He did play him in the Twilight movies. I completely forgot. He was the one with the dreadlocks.
Mm-hmm.
Who was with the bad coven or whatever. Morgan, I feel like this is probably a friend of mine who said feels good when a brother doesn't die first. But yeah, so yeah, he got done dirty in X-Men First Class. He played Darwin, who's supposed to evolve to, or his powers change based on anything that he needs in order to survive, right? But yet he couldn't survive getting killed by some white dude.
Yeah, and it was a stupid death too because he shouldn't have died. He touched what was it? He touched like a rock, and then a guy still blew him up from the inside. I was like, yo, that doesn't make any sense because he's supposed to adapt.
Like it wasn't even that. It was so. What's his name? It was Sebastian Shaw, right? The guy who Kevin Bacon played.
Yeah.
He got hit by Havoc's like energy blast, right? And then he just like shrunk it down into like a little like beam of, or like a little ball of energy, and then fed it to Darwin. And like, you would have thought like maybe his body would adapt to it so he could like expel it. And it kind of looked like he was going to, and then all of a sudden he just turned to ash and then just like died. It was like,
that was horrible.
Right.
That was another reason why I don't like X-Men movies. We're not gonna go there. Though.
There was a lot of them that I liked, but either way. So like he's playing Mr. Terrific. I could kind of see it, definitely.
Especially with the mask on. He looks
with
like
the
Mr.
mask,
Terrific.
right? With like just picturing the mask on him, I could definitely see it. Him in a leather jacket with fair play on his arms, that'd be pretty sick.
With the what they call it?
The T-spheres.
Yes, I can't
just
wait
floating
to see
around
those.
him.
Yeah, I can't wait to see that. That's gonna look so dope because we really didn't get it as much. We did get it when he was I forgot the dude's name. Remember he was in Green Arrow. They had him
Echo Callum played him in Green Arrow.
Yeah, and I don't think we really got much of the T-spheres.
Not in the way that we wanted to. Like the only time we would ever see him is like they CGI'd it to make it look like it was a drone following or looking for stuff, or he would just like take him and throw him like baseballs.
Yeah.
So it was just like, okay. But I mean, TV show, I guess they gotta,
limit to what
use
they can do.
limit. Yeah, there's a limit to what they can do. Okay. Now, uh, Isabella
Yeah.
Merced is playing Hawk Girl. She's a lot younger. I haven't seen her in anything really. I've seen her in one thing. She was in Transformers: The Last Night. She played the young girl who was basically Mark Wahlberg's surrogate, like daughter, more or less. She also played in Dora and the Lost City of Gold, which like I haven't seen that movie, but from people that I've heard have seen it, said that it was really funny. Um, and then she also played in something called Instant Family, which also has Mark Wahlberg. So she did a couple of movies with Marky Mark.
Such a good vibrations. I'm sorry. All right.
Demonetized. No, we're not even monetized right now, so it's okay. We're good. But yeah, so I mean, she's young, so I'm wondering like kind of where they're gonna go with it. I don't know. Hawk Girl's a cool character, so if they're trying to make her into like the badass that I know her to be from like JL, like the Justice League series and Justice League Unlimited, then hey, that'd be cool.
Yeah, they got to make up for that BS Hawkman that they gave us. Suit was dope.
Oh,
Suit was
oh,
dope.
yeah. You're talking about what's his name, Aldous Hodge from
Yeah,
Black Adam.
yeah. Suit was dope.
Yeah,
Don't get me wrong. I love the suit, but he sucked.
yeah. He didn't strike me as Hawkman. You know what I mean?
No, he didn't. So
Uh,
James Gunn, give me better, please. Don't disrespect the nth metal.
don't disrespect the end metal. Last casting of note that I could think of or that I've seen was for Metamorpho, and that's Anthony Kerrigan.
It's a good one too.
That is kind of decent. I've only seen him in a couple of things. I know that he's famous for being in Barry. That's not a show that I've ever actually watched, so I couldn't speak on that. But like Gotham, I remember him being in Gotham. Um, he also played a villain in The Flash.
Yes, he did.
Um, I can't remember what was the villain's name that he played in Flash.
I don't remember the villain's name either, but I know he was in Flash. He was in another movie. He was in something else that I saw too. Oh, Blacklist. That's what it was.
He was in Blacklist. Yeah, you're right. Oh, he played Mist. He played Kyle Nimbus, aka Mist, in Flash.
Okay.
Yeah, I honestly, it's been a while since I've seen those episodes because that was from 2014, 2015. So I don't remember, but I remember him being Victor Zsasz in Gotham. So
And he did a great job with that one.
yeah, he definitely did. But yeah, I mean, I could kind of see it. I've heard some people say that they wish that they would have found somebody a little bit bigger, and they were thinking of they were wanting somebody with like a different accent, I guess. But who knows? Uh, he could. I don't know if he does accents or not. Maybe he could do, you know, uh, something close to what they're looking for. Who knows? But either way, like I mean, I think the guy is a pretty decent actor, so I could kind of see him. And even I don't know how big of a part these people or these characters are going to play in Superman Legacy. For all we know, they could just be like small parts, like cameos at most, maybe. Who knows? So time will tell, and I mean, who knows? Maybe one day we'll see them all in a Justice League movie. So
Yes, it's set to start shooting January 2024, but it's not releasing until like July 2025.
yeah, it's got some time, and then I mean, considering how everything's going right now with the strike, like we were just talking about, it could be later, could not be. Who knows? We'll see, I guess. Um, but all right. I mean, that's about all I've got for old news. Was there anything that you had that you wanted to touch on?
Old news? No, sir. Not about the old news. I'm all about the new stuff right now.
All the new news. All right. Well, why don't we go ahead and break into our breaking news? So this is everything from SDCC that we've got, or that we've come up with, or that we've seen. All the stuff kind of coming out. There's again, like we set up at the front. There's not a lot of movie news. There's a few things here and there, but it's mainly like either stuff that was announced right before, or it's like really small stuff that they kind of coincided with SDCC. Is not really like anything that came directly out of it. So same kind of goes for TV shows. But the biggest things were definitely some video game news, comic book news, and toy news. So do you want to kick it off for us with video games?
Yes. So I'm not going to go far into it. I'm not a big fan of Mortal Kombat, but they're remaking Mortal Kombat 1. Don't care for it. I've never been, I'm sorry guys, I'm not a Mortal Kombat fan. I'm a Street Fighter guy. Street Fighter's always been better to me. But they are releasing, what was it? They're bringing some characters back. And they're releasing, I think it's like 2 new characters that it is.
So, well, they just announced, I think, 2 to 3 new characters that are in the main roster that are coming back. Or no, I'm sorry. There's 2 new characters that are coming back into the roster, and then there's a 1 brand new character that's going to be in the main roster as well. Tanya, and then
is it Baraka? We said that it's
coming Baraka, back? Right? Yeah, Baraka and Tanya are coming back. They're going to be in the main roster. And then this was in a trailer with a new character. Whose name escapes me. Give me just a second, because she's part of some. She's apparently part of some group of priestesses that are from Outworld. Who are supposed to protect the princesses, I believe. Let's see. What is her name? What is her name?
Well, while he's looking that up, so they gave us our first DLC of who we're getting, which is actually gonna be kind of cool. To see these actual people in the game. We have Peacemaker from DC Suicide Squad. If you haven't watched the show, it's a pretty decent show. Omni-Man and Quan. From what I'm seeing is we got Quan Chi, returning classic combatants. Ermac, Takeda Takashi. There's one more that I'm missing. Is it the Homelander that's supposed to be coming too?
Yeah, Homelander from The Boys,
which is going to be interesting.
It's going to be really interesting, especially with Omni-Man in there. Him and Omni-Man have very similar power sets because they're both pastiches of Superman. That's going to be insane. I can't wait to see what their powers look like, what their power sets are. I'm still trying. Oh, okay. So the matter of fact, this is what I'm going to do. So right here, you can kind of see these are all the confirmed characters thus far. You've got Baraka, so he was in that trailer that dropped like right before the Combat Pack 1 trailer dropped. Ermac, part of Combat Pack 1, so DLC character. Homelander, DLC character. Johnny Cage, he was like confirmed basically from the outset, I believe. Kenshi, Katana, Kung Lao, he was in like the very first trailer. Li Mei is the brand new character that was in the trailer that I was talking about. So she's part of this group of priestesses who are supposed to protect the princesses of Outworld. We got Liu Kang, Melina, Li Mei, and I believe Melina have a lot to do with one another. They Lee May seemed to be Melina's like direct bodyguard or something. At least from what I gathered from the trailer. We got Omni Man and Peacemaker, both DLC characters. Quan Chi returning and a DLC character. Raiden, Rain, Scorpion, Shang Tsung is the like big bad of it, and he's also like the pre-order special character. Smoke and Sub Zero. And then we also got Takeda Takahashi, who is actually Kenshi's son, and he's going to be a DLC character. And then Tanya. And then these are all the confirmed cameos. So I don't know if some of these characters are going to actually end up being playable or not, or if they're just going to be the ones that they're like the tag team system that they have, which is called cameos. So Cyrax, Frost, Goro, Jax, Kano, and then obviously Kung Lao and Scorpion are in the main cast. Sector, Sub-Zero also in main cast. Sonya Blade, and then Stryker.
Oh, I just realized Sonya is not in the game as a main character this time.
At least that's how it seems so far. I don't know if any of those cameo characters are going to be anybody who are
playable
or not, but
except for the ones you're seeing on the main roster.
Right. But yeah, I'm pretty excited about this game, and I need to get a next gen console in order to play it. So it's just one more swift kick in the butt telling me, hey, you gotta buy the new thing.
PlayStation 5, man, best system. I don't care what nobody say. I'm being biased. I'm sorry. I'm a PlayStation guy.
Hey, I'm a PlayStation guy too, but
speaking of,
I'm leaning a little bit toward PC lately. We'll see.
Nah, PC is definitely the way to go. Like, especially if you want to mod and cheat and all that good stuff. But speaking of PlayStation, oh man, and I know everybody feels the same way I feel. The game of the year, I'm calling it now. It's going to be the game of the year when it comes out. Spider-Man 2. We got Spider-Man. We got Spider-Man 1.5. We get Spider-Man 2 now. So the story is, I don't know if anybody remembers it. It really last off at we see Eddie in the tank with the symbiote suit. Oh, he's got to have the symbiote suit, but it was definitely on him.
It wasn't Eddie though.
It wasn't Eddie. Not Eddie. I'm sorry, Harry. It was Harry. So now they're finally giving us the symbiote suit, and we're getting symbiote suit Spider-Man. And if you have not watched the trailer, I advise you to watch that trailer. It was really good, especially the story trailer that we got 2 days ago from SDCC. I actually watched it last night, and I was so excited and mad at the same time because, again, this game should be 2 players. There's no reason why this game is not 2 players. This game should be 2 players. And I do not like what they did with Miles. Miles should not have dreads. He didn't have dreads in the comics. They shouldn't give him dreads. But I'm happy though. He looks like Static Shock in DC.
Yeah, a little bit.
He looks like Static Shock. But the trailer is amazing. I can't wait. The way Spider-Man plays, I'm talking about Peter with the symbiote suit. I cannot wait to play with it. I can't. I'm so excited.
Yeah, man, it looks so sick. Like I remember the first, because they obviously like you said, they did the tease at the end of the first game, which spoilers if you haven't played this 5+ year old game, but like they teased it at the end, and the fact that they're following through with it, like making it a continuation of that. And then on top of that, in that trailer, that story trailer, you actually end up getting to see Harry, presumably Harry. I'm assuming it's Harry. And I'm pretty sure that they've even said as much that it's not Eddie Brock who's going to be Venom. But you see Venom full on in the trailer. It's so sick.
Yeah, bro. That was like I don't understand how it's not 2 players. But from way it looked, I'm gonna speculate that they got Venom as a good. He's probably gonna be. I know he's probably gonna be like an anti-hero, but it
Mm.
seemed like he was helping. From the trailer from 2 days ago, it seemed like he was helping the Spider-Mans more than he was supposed to be against them.
I'm wondering if they you've seen Spectacular Spider-Man, right?
Of course.
So if I'm not mistaken, and I could be wrong, you can correct me if I'm wrong, or anybody in the comments watching, correct me if I'm wrong. In that, at one point, Peter was trying to help Eddie become a hero, and he was like kind of showing him the ropes for a while, but then eventually the Venom symbiote uh, just like flipped on him more or less, and uh, Eddie started like um, you know like engaging in like violence, and the more violent he got, it was just started becoming more of a villain and stuff, if I'm not mistaken. It was
Uh,
that, or wait, was it Eddie? Yeah, no,
yeah,
it
no,
was
it was
Eddie.
Eddie.
For a
Spectacular
second I thought it
Spider-Man.
was
It was
for
no,
a
and the
second
other
I
one
thought
is
it was Harry,
Flash.
and I was just like, what?
Yeah, no. Spectacular Spider-Man. It was Eddie, and then I forgot the other one. It's when he has the team with like White Tiger, Luke Cage, Iron Fist.
Oh,
That
you're
one was
talking about
Flash
Ultimate
Thompson.
Spider-Man. Yeah,
Yeah,
Ultimate Spider-Man.
yeah, that was
It,
Flash, and they called
because
him Agent Venom.
he became Agent Venom. But yeah, no,
But
I think if anything, it kind of seems like they might do that, where he's trying to be a hero for a little bit, and then maybe the symbiote just like takes over too much, and he starts going evil. So that, or maybe we end up getting like the Lethal Protector from the Venom movies and shit, right? So
I hope we get a good one because then it's gonna throw me back to them Super Nintendo days. Spider-Man. Oh, it wasn't Spider-Man. It was called Maximum. Was it Maximum Carnage?
yeah.
Yeah, I used to play that with my cousin. Oh, that used to be my game right there. That was a fun game.
Oh man, yeah, that takes me back, dude. I remember because I used to go to the Boys and Girls Club, and they had like old systems for us to play. And one of the games that was there was Spider-Man Maximum Carnage. I would sit there and like play it all the time. They had to start telling me like, "Hey, can you let other people play?" I was just like, "But I don't get to play this at home." So
Speaking of old school, off the Spider-Man, because we'll say between him and I, we'll sit here and talk about Spider-Man all day because we're all Spider-Man fans. But off of that, in old school, they are releasing um a very old game came out on Nintendo, Double Dragon,
mm,
and it's gonna be it's really like a beat 'em up game, very similar to what we got with the Ninja Turtles. If you haven't played the Ninja Turtles for the Switch, or well, it came out for the Switch, Xbox, and PlayStation. If you didn't play it, I highly suggest you play that. It was a really good game, the Ninja Turtles I'm talking about. But it's gonna be very similar. Beat 'em up game, run around, and you just follow the story. And I've never played the original Double Dragon. I've played the Super Nintendo version, Battletoads and Double Dragon, and that's what made me really like the real like. Well, of course, everybody's favorite, Turtles in Time. But Double Dragon, I always picked the Dragon. I always picked those one of the two. I never really played Battletoads. Battletoads was cool, and it's probably one of the hardest games that I've ever played. They say Battletoads is one of the hardest games ever, which they're definitely not lying. But check it out. It's going to be real fun to play. Something you can play with friends. It's going to be 4 characters. Uh, I'm still learning the other characters. I only knew the two because the one had red, one had blue. I never knew their names. So I can't wait. That's going to be a fun game as well. I'm looking forward to that. So we have some good releases of video games coming out before the end of this year. So
uh,
Spider-Man is October 20th. Oh, good.
oh, you're good. Go ahead. Go ahead and
Uh,
finish it.
yeah, I was gonna say Spider-Man is October 20th, and Double Dragon, I believe it's going to be. I haven't seen a release date yet. Oh, it said initial release is supposed to be July 27th,
Oh, so that's like next
next week.
weekend.
Yeah,
That's really soon.
very soon.
Um, so my history with Double Dragon, um, I didn't play it a whole lot as a kid, but I do remember. I think a cousin of mine having it on Game Boy. He had Double Dragon 2. I played that quite a bit whenever he would come by. There was that, and then the only other like exposure to Double Dragon that I had, there was a TV show in the '90s that was really really cool, where it was the twin the twins who had the dragon mark, right?
Yep.
One of them started off as the Shadow Thief or the Shadow King or something, and then I remember him being the one in blue, and then the one in red, or maybe it was the opposite way around. I don't know. Either way, he ended up bringing him back to the light side, right? So they became, double dragons together. And then shortly after that, there was another Shadow King or something like that they had to try to defeat. I remember watching that show religiously as a kid. It, for whatever reason, is not all in there, but I remember watching it quite a bit. And the fact that they're going to come out with another game, I'm interested in probably picking it up. So, what were their names though? This is the one
Billy
thing
and Jimmy Lee.
There we go. I knew it was something Lee, and I thought it was Billy and Jimmy, but I couldn't remember. You're right. Yeah, Billy and Jimmy Lee.
Yep. I definitely. Like I said, I didn't remember the names at first, but it hit me a little later. It's Billy and Jimmy. I can't tell you which one was blue, which one was red, but all I know is I used to play the heck out of those two.
I think Billy wore the red, and I think Jimmy wore the blue.
It's a good question.
Or maybe it's the other way. I mean, obviously it's a 50-50 chance, so it's going to be one way or another. But yeah, dude, I remember it. I remember it somewhat fondly, so I'm definitely going to be checking that out. I think when it comes out.
Yeah, after that, that's all the video game news that I've seen so far. Is anything you want to touch on? Comic books, toys that's coming out?
Oh, comic books and toys, man. Let's see. I've got quite a bit. I will preface this by saying I'm a fan of a YouTuber / streamer named Dave Wonder, and I know that between today and tomorrow he's going to be doing a big roundup of all the toy news from SDCC, possibly even more than just the toy news. So I really just kind of cherry picked and picked the things that I like and the things I really want to talk about. So we'll dive into that stuff. I think what we'll do is we'll dive into maybe the comic book stuff first, because there's just a few things that I saw that I really wanted to talk about.
Yeah, and plus you owe me some surprise that you tell me that I'll really be looking forward to. So I'm waiting for that.
Yeah, give me a second here. I got you. Sorry guys, this is our first podcast, so we're I'm kind of learning some stuff on the fly here, but if you give me a second, I will pull up what it is that I would like to show everyone and what I would like to talk about. All right. There it is. Okay. So we've got the announcement. This came a little bit before SDCC, but Miss Marvel, aka Kamala Khan, is coming back, and she's not just going to be a superhero. She's going to be part of a team. She's going to be a mutant with the X-Men. So we got Miss Marvel, the New Mutant.
God, I'm sorry. Her outfit is
outfit
fire.
Doesn't it look sick?
It does. You should have shown me this. Oh my God.
It's, dude, it looks pretty cool, and there's
got the
a
best
lot
resurrection I've ever seen. I'm sorry.
It's so cool. It keeps a lot of her elements, her elements, like from her old costume. You've got the cape, you've got like the tunic, and I believe she has like her skirt on, and I'm pretty sure she still has like her sneaks on too. So she'll still have that stuff, but then you dress it up with a little bit of X-Men magic, and I mean you've got like stuff like your. Give me a second here.
Throw me in the Lazarus pit. I'll take that too.
You've got your like the red X on the shoulder here. That's like the new X-Men sort of logo with it split that way. This is something else that's been kind of coming up a little bit more lately, is the like X down on the sleeves at the ends of the sleeves, kind of creeping up on the hands. Got your X logo on the belts, but then you also got your Miss Marvel flavor, her logo here on the side.
Yo, you know what's crazy? I'm sorry. Like looking at it, it reminds me of two characters from X-Men. Actually, she reminds me of Jean Grey / Storm with with the whole outfit.
A little bit. With the kind of with the colors, and then with the mask, she definitely kind of evokes some Jean Grey, especially because it comes up all around her head, and then it's just like has her hair out and has like the. Actually, no, that looks a little bit more like Kitty Pryde to me. If she would have had like one of those long sort of masks, then she would have kind of gotten the Jean Grey going, but a little bit of Storm because of the cape, because I want to say that Storm's like one of the only X-Men who actually wears a cape.
Yeah, her and Emma Frost.
Emma Frost does, yeah, but that's because Emma Frost is a freaking queen. So, but dude, I'm digging it. I'm digging the design. What's really cool, the thing that's really got me is the story behind this and the sort of implications that I think it's going to have for the MCU going forward. Not just Marvel Comics, but the MCU and like the movies going forward. So for those of you who don't know, who may not have seen it, spoilers for Miss Marvel, the show, Inbound, but towards the end, they end up revealing that she's a mutant. Now, if you are not in the know, when Kamala Khan made her debut, she had her powers due to being affected by the Terrigen Mist, which means that in order for her to be affected by the Terrigen Mist, she has to be an Inhuman. Now, Inhumans are more or less like Marvel's other mutants, so to speak. They're not quite human mutants, but they are like mutants nonetheless.
Yeah, like she didn't get she didn't have like the genetic trait of a human. I'm not a human, of a mutant.
Right. So the big distinction of like the mutants in the comics, they have what's called the X gene. It's more or less like the latent gene that activates whenever either they like a child becomes an adolescent or they're put under duress, so like extreme duress, so it like activates their powers. In order for Inhumans to become, super powered, they have to go through what's called Terrigenesis, which is going through, through the Terrigen Mist. So she wasn't Inhuman, but in the show, it turns out they're saying like the reason why you were able to use your powers or use the bangle the way that you do is because you have a mutation in your DNA. And then slowly in the background, you could kind of hear lightly the from X-Men the animated series. So that led everybody to believe like, oh, is she going to be part of the X-Men now? Well, it turns out, it seems like she's going to be, at least in the comic books and possibly maybe in the MCU. Now, the reason I'm saying that is because the story surrounding this and the things that we were kind of that were reported on for this were that Iman Vellani, the young woman who plays Kamala Khan in the TV show, is helping to write this story. It's going to be a 4-issue miniseries, and it's basically going to be Kamala Khan being resurrected. She was recently killed in a Spider-Man story where she had disguised herself as Mary Jane so that she could save Mary Jane's life, who was, she was being attacked, or she was being trying to be sacrificed for some evildoer, and
Turn into a god.
to be so that he could be turned into a god. So um, Kamala Khan used her shape-shifting abilities to turn herself into, or at least disguise herself as
Mary Jane.
So that she would be the one to, more or less take the bullet or take the hit, sacrificing herself. So she's been gone for a little bit. But the way that she's being resurrected is that she is being resurrected on Krakoa using their Genesis program, which is basically any X-Men. If you didn't know, in the most recent years, in the last 3 to 4 years, they're basically immortal. Anytime that they're killed, they can be reincarnated or resurrected using this protocol, basically, where they're just reborn from pods, and their memories are intact, because they have memory backup and all this stuff, and then they're instantly back to the same age that they were when they died, or at least possibly a little bit younger. But they have all their same abilities. They have all of their memories and everything. They're just reborn, and then they can go right back out and keep doing what they were doing. And it seems like they're going to be using this process on Kamala Khan. Now, with that being said, I feel like something along those lines is going to be the way that they kind of bring the X-Men into the MCU, or that they're gonna be using Kamala Khan in some way, shape, or form to help introduce the X-Men in the MCU.
Yeah, because it's definitely been slowly building up for us to get the X-Men. Honestly,
it's been more than a slow burn for the X-Men. It's been a long haul for the X-Men.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
we're overdue for the X-Men. X-Men, even though I don't like them, Fantastic Four. Oh, I thought that was about to be. Oh my God, that's a fire picture.
Yeah, it is. There's another one of these where it's basically a classic, a classic cover, and then they just kind of put Kamala Khan in here. But that one's really cool. That First Class, and then this one, the Grant Morrison. I love this one too. This one's really cool.
That is good. That's good too.
But yeah, here you can see obviously it shows her mask, but then you can see that she's got the full tunic with the skirt, her sash, and then she's got her sneaks on, right? That's pretty cool.
It is.
But I mean, I'll probably end up trying to read this for sure, because it sounds like it's going to be a pretty decent book, and the fact that they've got Miss Marvel herself helping to write this sounds like a good idea. And I would like to see if this has any implications going forward for the MCU for sure, because a little bit more and more, the MCU is trying to pull stuff from the comics, and the comics have always been, they've always been obviously the template for the movies, but also too, the comics have been changing stuff to kind of match the movies as well. So we'll just kind of see how that goes. Some more news out of Comic-Con. Here we go. So can you tell who this is?
Is that who I think it is?
I don't know. I'm trying to see who you think it is.
At first, I was going to say Miles, but I know it can't be.
No, it's not.
It's Ben Reilly.
No, neither.
It's neither?
No. Just try to look at the picture a little bit more. Try to see what
is that hair in the back?
Uh-huh.
Is that Spider-Woman? No, can't be Spider Woman.
No.
Is that
So
Mary Jane?
no, it's not either. You would think, right, with the red hair. So this is Black Widow.
Stop
This
playing.
is Natasha Romanoff, and apparently she is going to be getting a Venom symbiote, or not just a Venom symbiote, but she's getting a symbiote of her own. Apparently, um, from what it looked like, or from what it read like in the article, apparently uh, there is a new symbiote in town who's having some issues with Venom. But then on top of that, there's also uh, another symbiote who attaches themselves to Natasha, and then ultimately this is kind of the result we get.
That
I
looks
think
good.
she looks pretty cool. If you can see here around her wrist, you see her like
And
yeah, her widow stingers, right? And then it looks like she's got webs coming up out of them. So that's pretty cool. Got her logo here in the middle. So finally, Black Widow is a spider character.
long overdue, but golly, that looks good.
Yeah, it looks really good. It looks really cool. I'd be intrigued to see like exactly how this story plays out, or if it's something that she's going to be keeping. This is going to be an implication that like stays for a long time, or if this is just like one of those one and done sort of like Venomized stories or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I guess we'll see. Um, Now this one was something I was really chuffed at. I really thought was really cool. I think you'll like it too, just because I know these are two characters that you like. The Uncanny Spider-Man. I'm sure you could tell who that is.
No, they did not just give Nightcrawler one too.
That's not a symbiote, but he's apparently he's in the story that he's in right now. I guess he's learning more of his origin with Mystique, and then somewhere along the lines, this is just it's a costume that he took up. So yeah, he's gonna be a Spider-Man character.
Jesus, the suit looks good
Right. It looks really cool. I like how I like how his ears play a part in the mask.
with the
He's
tail
got room
too.
for his ears. His
Mm-hmm.
tail, yeah, his tail is really cool. I mean, they've got, he's got his toes, his feet, or his hands.
I
It
like how
has
they
some
keep.
little. Go ahead.
Good.
I'm sorry.
No, I was gonna say I like how they kept like the basics, like in his boots when of course when he's just an X Men. That the red things that you were pointing out too, and on the wrist too that they kept as well.
Right. Yeah. No, that was literally what I was just about to say. I was like, I like that they kept like the boot shapes or whatever
Mm-hmm.
in this costume, as well as like the red and on the gauntlets or on his wrists. But then he's got a nice big old red spider symbol, and then obviously you got your big Spidey eyes, the big white Spidey eyes. I'm curious as to if he's gonna get like a web shooter. I don't think he really needs it because I mean, he can already travel
Damn near
without,
anywhere as long as he's
right.
shooting it.
He can already travel wherever he wants without the webs. So I'm assuming those won't really play too much of a part in it. He can already stick to surfaces and everything, so he was already kind of like a spider character. Other than calling him the Uncanny Spider-Man, the only other thing I would love for somebody to call him is Spider Monkey.
That would be hilarious.
And then what's really cool, what's also making me laugh, what I think is really funny, is if you've ever seen Ben 10 Ultimate Alien or Ben 10 Alien Storm or Alien Swarm, I can't remember what it's called. Is the two newer shows, or not newer shows, but the two like sequel shows to the first Ben 10. One of
Mm-hmm.
the aliens he gets access to is a blue monkey that has spider powers, and his name was Spider Monkey, obviously. Uh, so I want somebody to call him Spider Monkey, and the fact that, well, like his suit's not blue, but the fact that he's blue in general, love it. I'm like, okay, we got some Ben 10, we got Spider Monkey because he looks like a monkey. somebody got to call him Spider Monkey.
And then it makes it even funnier because you're talking about that. You see like the blue aura around him.
Right. It's just so funny. It's really cool though.
That is cool.
Again, this is one of those things where I want to know what kind of implications this is going to have going forward. This is part of the like fall of X, like the leading up to the fall of X. It's basically from what my understanding of it is that they are going to be more or less destroying Krakoa, the island of, or the the nation of Krakoa. But there's always going to be X-Men, so like it's they might not have their own home and their own nation anymore, but there's still always going to be X-Men. So I'm curious to see if he's going to continue to be an X-Men character, or if he's again just going to be the Uncanny Spider-Man. Now he's just going to be like a new Spider character. So this we'll see.
Was this a surprise you were telling me about?
This was the surprise comic book thing I was telling you about.
Okay.
Because like I said, I knew that these were two characters that you like loved, and seeing them mashed together like really made me happy. So I figured it would make you happy as well.
Yeah, it definitely did.
All right. Another thing, like I don't have any images for, but like one thing that I'd like to talk about, and this isn't SDCC news, but have you been keeping up with what's been going on with this new character, Spider Boy?
I've seen him once.
Yeah, I just, and he doesn't have very many like issues out or anything like that, or there's not a lot on him. But from what I've seen, I mean, he seems like an interesting character. The idea behind him is that he's been Peter Parker's sidekick for a while. He has similar powers to him. Nobody remembers him because he supposedly too was also severed from the Web of Destiny. And then when they were reconnected to the Web of Destiny, he was brought back. But nobody remembers him still. So I'm just interested to see why nobody remembers him. But like his powers are insane. Like he's got a better spider sense than Peter Parker does. Like he can touch things and sense, like it's basically like getting a force echo from them, so he can see things that have happened.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't use any webbing, mainly because the story is that Peter hasn't given him web shooters yet, so he doesn't use any webbing. So he just whenever he's trying to get anywhere, he's just jumping everywhere. He's literally just like hopping from building to building, and he looks like he's got like a longer like hop than Spider or like than Peter does. So that's definitely kind of cool. And then he also has a venom bite like Miguel O'Hara.
Wow.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting. So I'm curious to see how it kind of goes. I would imagine this. I mean, if he ends up being popular, he probably ends up being like a mainstay character. But see, I guess.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting. I know I've seen him, and I've seen the part where it was like, "Oh, you don't remember me? I was part of such and such." I did see that, and then I just stopped following the Spider Boy.
There hasn't been much. I think he's only got like a couple of
cameos in
episodes.
Spider-Man comics.
Well, he's got like at least he's got a storyline that's going right now, so it's like still ongoing. But
okay.
But yeah, I mean, he's definitely an interesting character.
I need that other surprise. You don't understand. I've been waiting since yesterday.
No, we'll get there. We'll get there. Just wait. But now on to some toy news. There's a lot of, like I said, there's a lot of toy news coming out of SDCC, but like I said, I'm only cherry picking some of the things, because I don't want to. There's a sheer amount of stuff that like I would have to go through, and I would probably end up being here for a little while, and we still have more show to go. Plus, I know other people who are going to want to talk about it, and I don't want to be like the first to like talk about it, especially if they're going to definitely be like more in depth and better for it. So Give me 1 second. Yeah, dude, still learning here, still trying to figure this out. Bear with me, folks. I'm so sorry. I think that's it. Nope, it's not. Well, there we go. Okay. So that's still not it. Sorry. 1 second. Okay. Why isn't this working? Talk, entertain the people, man, while I while I figure this out.
What I was about to say is I was about to start talking about something completely different, but
There it is.
You got it?
Yeah, I got it. Is that showing
Yes, it is.
Wolverine? There we go. Awesome.
No mask Wolverine.
Sick. All right. So some of the big news coming out of SDCC was definitely a lot of the toys, a lot of toy news. Marvel Legends definitely being one of them. I'm a huge Marvel Legends collector. I know a lot of people who are. So they definitely like came with it this year. They showed off some of their X-Men 97 tie-in figures. So obviously, as you can see, we've got Wolverine here, looking kind of good with his, his maskless face.
Don't forget that background. Just look at that background too.
Right, and you can see in the background here. I mean, he's got his masked face here, as well as like for this maskless face, he's got like his hood down that you can put around his neck. So that's pretty cool. It's not the first time that they've done that, but I mean, it's just cool to see like they're doing it more with some of these figures. I'm definitely going to be getting this because I have almost all kinds of iterations of Wolverine in my collection, except this normal tiger suit. So like, I'm definitely going to be getting it. The other thing too that's really cool is that anybody who's been collecting Marvel Legends for a little bit now knows that with some of the X-Men animated series stuff that they released recently, they were doing like the cell shading stuff, and it's really cool to see that they're not doing that with this. So I'm pretty happy about that. Next, we've got a redesign of Bishop. This is also from the same wave. I like it. I like how this looks. Although I will not lie, I think I'm more used to seeing Bishop with actual like long dreads. So seeing him with like short hair is kind of weird, but it's not bad. I mean, overall, I feel like it's a good look. I mean, you got his M mark on his face. He's got his handkerchief around the neck. There's some like looks like more streamlined sort of things going on in his costume. But overall, I mean, I feel like it's not a bad look. What are you thinking of Bishop here?
I'm thinking the same way you're thinking. I'm used to seeing him with the long hair. It doesn't look bad actually. Uh, Definitely reminds me of Bishop.
Yeah,
I
it
love how
definitely.
they did the face too. Like
Yeah,
that looks good. That looked like it came straight from the TV show, the
yeah,
'97 TV show.
definitely. I mean, you'll see this with the rest of the figures, but like I feel like they really stepped their game up when it comes to like the face, like the head sculpts in this line. Um, Marvel Legends has been doing really good with their head sculpts a lot lately, but in general, I feel like with these they just like knocked it out of the park. So In the background, you can kind of see here as well when you've got the SDCC exclusive Deadpool and Bob the Hydra agent in the background there. Deadpool doing a little bit of dance there, and with all of his accessories and stuff, it looks like Bob's on the floor for some reason. Moving on, we've got Gambit.
Man, that looks really good.
I like the I like the updated colors on this.
Same.
I have the one of the original Marvel Legend figures for him, at least in the more modern age, I should say. I shouldn't say the original because the original is like from Toy Biz, but I don't have that. But this it's definitely like I said, it's got updated colors and it does not look bad. I like it quite a bit. The head sculpt on this again, the heads in this line are looking really good. The hair, he's got such like insane hair in this. That was one of the problems on some of the older figures is that his hair looked like everybody says French fries. They look pretty bad, but like here he's got like a full on coif. It's like swept over. It looks really good, and he's got his Cajun little smirk and stuff. So I mean I dig on it. He's definitely going to be. I'll definitely be grabbing him. So we'll see how it goes.
Not gonna lie. Looking at him, it's just throwing me to that intro.
Oh right, and he's throwing the cards.
Yeah, that literally is giving me that vibe.
This is I wanted to save him for last, but I couldn't necessarily put him in order. But this is the one I'm most looking forward to. I have a couple Magnetos in the collection. I don't have the original one that they released where he's in these colors and with just the normal head sculpt. But this Magneto looks so sick. You were talking about how like it instantly makes you think of like the opening. This instantly makes me think of the opening. Seeing him, his arms out, I could just imagine like the bubble of power around him.
Mm-hmm.
Him calling his, the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants, next to him. From what I understand, like the cape here, they like got it up and out of the way of the shoulders,
like it's supposed to be,
and like they made it to where it's not going to be, get in the way of any articulation with the shoulders and stuff. So like, I'm happy, I'm excited. I can't wait for this. I want to say that I don't know 100% for sure if this is all new sculpt on the body or not, but it looks pretty good. If I'm not mistaken, it kind of looks like his knees are pinless and his elbows. So he might have pinless knees and elbows. We'll see. The head sculpt on this, I didn't get obviously I don't have like a full on close up image of the head, but like if you can kind of see in here, you can kind of see like his eyes peering out. From what I saw of like the actual close up image of this, they actually like darkened around his eyes, and the eyes are like fully painted, like full. They look great. The head sculpt in general looks great. I can't wait for this. He looks really good. Magneto, definitely one of my all-time favorite like Marvel villains. How can he not be? And then we've got the Southern Belle herself. We've got Rogue. She looks pretty good.
They could did it better with the jacket.
Yeah, I've heard people say like they would have wanted the brown jacket.
Mm-hmm. That's what I was thinking.
I definitely would have wanted the brown jacket as well. But what's cool is like she definitely looks like she's using elements of the new Marvel Legends female body. So like you've got your the diaphragm swivel here. I don't think she has. It almost looks like she only has single elbows, so that kind of sucks. But I think they are pinless, and then her knees are pinless as well. She looks to be a little bit taller, so she might actually end up being around the same size as maybe Wolverine or Gambit. We'll see. overall, her head sculpt looks really good. I would have liked to see a little bit of a wash in the hair, just to kind of bring out the details of the white a little bit. But overall, I mean, I can't complain. I want to say that this is going to be a pretty decent looking costume, or a pretty decent looking figure in the collection. And then we've got the Queen, Rogue, or not Rogue. Wow,
Storm.
did I just say Rogue? Storm.
Yes.
Storm. This is one that I don't have in my collection. I don't have her in my collection at all, just because like she's so hard to find. At least for me, she's been hard to find. Some will say this is obviously from comics. She's supposed to be in the black costume. I've always ever seen her in the white costume from the TV show. So, and in Jim Lee's like artwork of her, she's always in the white costume. So this to me is like, this is my Storm. I love that they gave her the mohawk. I really like that. I mean, her design in this is a lot more slimline and a lot more streamlined than it was in the original TV show. So, like, if this is what her costume is going to look like, I mean, I'm down for it. She doesn't have as big of like the shoulder pads. It's cool. She still got like the X's, there on her shoulders. She's got the cloth cape, which looks a little limp, but I mean, hey, what can you expect for, a $20 figure? You're not going to get something wired or anything like that. She's got pinless knees, but it also looks like she's got single hinge elbows as opposed to like double jointed elbows. But her, again, like her face, the freaking like gem of this line is that everybody's head sculpts are insane. So like in most of her figures, she has whited out eyes. In this, she actually has pupils. And then in general, like her face and her head sculpt just looked awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Just awesome.
If they were going to do it 97, I prefer them to do the long white hair though. Not the. I mean, the mohawk looks great on her, but they're going to do.
You're talking about the big hair.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this is it's from the show that's supposed to be coming out, or the the relaunch show or the rebooted show or whatever. So I think that they're redesign. I mean, they definitely redesigned them a little bit. So I mean, that's why I think Bishop looks like this and why she looks like this. But
same thing
overall, the green jacket for Rogue. That's what a lot of people were saying too. It's just that she might have a green jacket in the show now as opposed to the brown one.
Okay.
Obviously, because we haven't seen it yet. But I mean, either way, like, I'm down for these figures 100%. Like, I'm going to get all of them. I want them to make Hasbro. If you're listening, which you're not, but I hope you are. I hope you do one day. Sabretooth. Animated series Sabretooth. I'm talking at least 7 to 8 inches tall, with the fur that comes up like this and the whited out eyes, because I just want to have him next to my Wolverine so that I could pretend that Sabretooth is saying, "What's the matter, Runs? Can't protect your woman?"
That on site, those are the best fights in the X-Men.
Dude, they were always on site, like always. It was always 100%. Like whenever it came to those two, it was like, boom, 100. They were just like, "Yo, you on my block, dude?" Nah.
Those are my favorites. Please skip the next one.
So, next figure's coming out. You said skip the next one?
Oh, please. I hate Smythe.
I love Smythe. Smythe is something that this is a character that I've long thought about having in figure form. So this is kind of cool that they're bringing it out in the Spider-Man VHS series. We've got Peter Parker, and we've got Alistair Smythe, aka the Spider Slayer. If I'm honest, I don't really want this Peter Parker. I just want the Smythe, but the Peter Parker looks really damn good, so I can't necessarily say anything bad about it.
It looks just like the
Um,
'90s one.
it looks
Literally
100% like the
spot on.
90s. It's really cool that I love
That's
this.
funny.
This head sculpt is really good. I mean, he's got his watch on. He's got the camera. Like it looks ripped right out of the cartoon, and then there he is taking a selfie. But this guy right here, I really
Spider-Man.
like. I really like it a lot. Would I have liked a little bit more of a comic accurate one? Sure, but in general, like I mean, if this is the Smythe that the only Smythe that we're gonna get, I'll be happy with it. I've heard a lot of people saying like, "Oh, I wish he didn't have the flat top with the mullet." They kind of want the just like long hair, like or just like the other mullet that he had in the comic books. But again, this is the Smythe that I know and remember because I grew up in the '90s and watched the show. So like, I'm happy with this. I definitely got my pre-order in already. Um, I could be wrong. I feel like he has toe articulation, which if he does, kudos, because that's kind of cool. Um, now, okay. Uh, I've already got my pre-orders in for this as well. Um, Marvel Legends, Marvel Knights line. Uh, these guys are they almost all the figures in here. I want to say all the figures on here look really good. So starting it off, we've got Matt Murdock, Daredevil, and this is his updated look, the one that he looks like, or how he looks right now as the
The hand.
no, he's not in the hand. It's called the Fist. So he's the leader of the Fist now. Um,
Okay.
this is so cool. He's married to Elektra. Him and Elektra are the bride and groom, or the masters of the Fist. And if you haven't seen Elektra, there's actually one that's out now, or yeah, it has been released already. But when she became Daredevil, she had a similar look. So now they're both Daredevil, and they both kind of look similar to this. But like, this guy looks so cool.
Mm-hmm.
He looks so good, and like, I'm a huge Daredevil mark in general. So like, I love this look for him. He's got his beard. He's got the half mask, and then on top of that, he's also got like I'm assuming that's a collar. I don't think it's actually like a bandana or anything, but like, it's the collar that kind of comes up here, evoking some of those like anime sort of like ninja looks. Baggy pants, got the hand wraps. It looks so good. And this is him with his accessories. Obviously, you got his two billy clubs, and then he's got this long, like glaive like staff. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't have anything bad to say about this. He in general just looks really good. I guess if I had to gripe, I could say like right here, you can see the joints, and it's not, that's breaking up the color a little bit, kind of breaking the sculpt. But I mean, what can you do? Just in general, he looks pretty good. He's light on the accessories, but like, I would have liked to see him come with maybe another hand or two, maybe fists, um, maybe an expressive head. But otherwise, in general, I mean, he looks pretty good. We've got Lady Bullseye here, is also part of the wave. Honestly, I don't know much about Lady Bullseye. I don't know who she is. She looks cool. Um, Basically, she's got the bullseye design on either side. There's one on this side and then one on the bottom, like her bottom half here. She's using the new Shriek body. This is the new female body. Very posable. You got pinless knees, pinless elbows. Pretty decent looking head sculpt, I mean, she kind of has like a geisha type look going on, with like the sort of like mask going on here, but also with the bullseye forehead. This is her and her accessories. She comes with two sides. She comes with a katana, some fans, And then she comes with extra hands. She's got looks like a grippy hand, and then the like a sai holding hand. And then obviously she comes with the 2 fists. Now, this is something that I was really excited about as well.
What a throwback.
Right. Straight up throwback. We've got Luke Cage, aka Power Man, with the classic costume. Yellow shirt with the long V-neck, popped collar, the big old chain belt, and then the 2 silver bracelets, and the silver tiara. Never, ever, ever have I thought Power Man looked any better than he does right here. He looks pretty good. He's got pinless knees, pinless elbows, but the biggest thing and the biggest gripe I could see is that he doesn't have like an ab crunch. He doesn't have any sort of torso articulation. Obviously, the biggest thing I can think of is that because that would just break the mold too much, or that would break the break the sculpt too much, and they didn't want to do that. They wanted to keep him with that nice, shirt overlay. I could be wrong. I'm hoping that he has at least the waist swivel, so you can actually get him into some sort of moving poses. But I mean, well, I guess we'll see. He's light on accessories, but I mean, what does this man need other than these 2 fists right here? You know what I mean? He's got the open hand so he could choke somebody out, or he's got the closed hand so he could punch him out. You know what I mean? He's definitely on pre-order. So I can't wait for him to come in. Also in this part of this wave is an Iron Man for some weird reason. This is a Gamerverse exclusive, or not Gamerverse exclusive, but it's in the Gamerverse tagline. This is Iron Man from Midnight Suns. If you haven't played that game, it's basically like a card collecting / strategy game with Marvel characters. It's basically they have the roster of the Midnight Suns, but then they also have Iron Man and a couple other people. This is his armor in there. It's imbued with some sort of magic to help him and the Midnight Suns fight Lilith. As you can kind of see here, this is kind of cool, but they've got some of the arcane text around his arc reactor, or the unibeam, if you will, and around other parts of his armor. You can see some up in the helmet there. It looks pretty cool. I believe he only comes with the 2 blast effects and some splayed out hands for the blast effects. Any thoughts on this?
I don't care for Iron Man. I'm gonna be honest with you. The suit looks dope though. He has some fire suits, but I don't know. It's just something about Tony Stark that just bothers me. But I love the colors. That black and gold looks really nice on him. They did a great job with this.
I'm not gonna lie, I was never a huge fan of him really in the comics. My biggest connection to him was definitely from the movies.
Same.
I would say that's the biggest reason I'm a fan of him. The other reason is because of the 90s cartoon. I really loved that show growing up. Not as much as I did X-Men or Spider-Man, but it was definitely up there for me. So
I couldn't watch the show. It was. Only time I watched it was when I seen War Machine. When I seen War Machine, I'll watch it. And once I didn't see War Machine, I didn't watch it.
Yeah, I don't blame you. War Machine was pretty dope.
Yeah.
Then we've got Fist Ninja.
That was cool.
It honestly just kind of looks like it's a redeco of the Hand Ninja that we've got a couple of years ago, but with some updated stuff. I like the tabby boots on here. They've got the tabard sash. They've got the Fist logo. This is a new head, if I'm not mistaken. I want to say it is. I could be wrong. But he comes with this head. He comes with that Ninjato, which is pretty cool. And then he also comes with Kusarigama and a different head, a skull head. I don't know 100% how they, or like what the Fist Ninja, what role they play in the ongoing Daredevil series. Other than them really just kind of being there to do whatever the Daredevils ask them to. So, or basically kind of being like the army for them, I think. But overall, he doesn't look bad. He looks kind of cool. So here he is with all of his accessories. He's got the 2 open hands, obviously, the 2 closed fists. You got the hooded skull, and then the 2 weapons. This is definitely an army builder, but like, I don't know why they put a Build-A-Figure piece with the army builder, especially if it's not one that's like gonna help to make it larger in any way. The thing that they did with the hand ninjas in the last release was they were in the Stiltman wave, and then in order to, like, if you wanted to army build them, you would get the hand ninja, but then you would also get an extension for Stiltman's legs. So like if you got a bunch of them, you could literally just make Stiltman larger, larger, and larger, and they were the perfect piece for it because it was just like in the middle, and you could just keep adding and stacking them larger and larger. So that was a good idea. But like with this, I think this Fist Ninja comes with like an actual hand and a fist. So now we've got Clea. Clea, aka the Mistress of the Dark Dimension, or Doctor Strange's wife, if I'm not mistaken. She looks pretty good. The colors look good on this. I see some fuckery going on though. It looks like she's got single elbows. They're reusing this same magic effect that we've had for a while. Her head looks really good though. It's a really good looking face, good looking head sculpt. Although the hair being swept like that looks like it could get in the way of some articulation. Overall, it looks like a decent figure. Here's her with the accessories. Again, she's got her, whip or rocker hands. She's got the magic accessories, and then just the 2 fists that she comes with. Overall, might be a decent figure. Definitely would look good sitting next to my Doctor Strange. Now this dude looks really cool. There's a lot of reuse in this, but the head sculpt and then the other accessories and stuff that come with it look really good. This is my mind's eye vision of Blade, because he looks a lot closer to like Wesley Snipes' Blade. There he is with those boomerang knives or whatever those are. And here he is with all of his accessories. So this literally, I could say, I'm not entirely sure about like the arms. The jacket overlay looks like it's a new, but as far as like from here up to the neck, it looks like all reuse of the original Blade that we got, as well as the more recent re-release of Blade that we got. But the head sculpt on this is what does it justice. You got him snarling. He's got his fangs out, his shades on. He's got the flat top, and then he comes with all these sick weapons. He's got his katana or ninjato, his sword. He's got these, like I said, the boomerang type knives, and then he's got a couple of wooden stakes, for stabbing up those vampires. So I'm really excited about this one. He's on pre-order as well. I can't wait for him to come out. If I'm not mistaken, here, let me go back. Yeah, he comes with a back scabbard like he did with the other ones. But in one of the pictures, it actually, I don't think I have the picture, but there's a picture of him actually reaching back and able to like pull the sword out. So that should be pretty cool. And then this is just all, these are just all package shots of all the figures. What's cool about this is that I believe this is going to be the first, could be wrong, could be, I want to say that this is the first wave that we're going to have of Marvel Legends where we've got the window packages back and it's not just the straight cardboard packages. People have been griping about that for quite a while now, and I definitely think that this is it's not gonna stop people from stealing stuff, but at least then you wouldn't like buy it and then have to bring it back because somebody switched out your figure. As you can see, this is also a Build-A-Figure wave, so like they come with pieces to build the Mindless one, which in all honesty, I believe I may have forgotten to get a picture of. I did. Well, yeah, I forgot to get a picture of the Mindless one, but it definitely looks cool. Definitely like the face on this thing and the fact that it comes with like these eye beam sort of, or like the eye smoke sort of look. Almost reminds me of Cyclops, but I think it'll be pretty cool. This is a shot from the con floor of a new and updated Vision. The head sculpt on this looks really, really cool. You can see all these like deep lines in his face, and just it like overall the head looks great. But then on top of that, he's on the new Vulcan body. So you got, obviously you got your pinless knees and elbows, very good musculature, and very good like just overall like good body sculpt. And then like I have the Vulcan figure, and its range of motion is pretty good too. So, all right, now just kind of moving into some NECA TMNT stuff. I'm not going to go too crazy on this just because I know that that Dave is going to be going over some of this later on today, so we'll definitely be able to get your TMNT fix with him for this. But they are going to be adding to the Last Ronin collection. We've already got the Last Ronin himself, but then these are the bros. These are the brothers before the events of the Last Ronin. So we've got Donnie up here. We've got Mikey. We've got, spoilers, we've got Raph. And if you didn't know from Last Ronin, he was unfortunately the first to fall, which is why he comes with all of those gosh darn arrows in his back. We've got Leo down here. And we've got Casey. Casey Jones looks pretty sick. I forgot how he looked in the comic, but like he's got some armor on, and he looks like he's trying to put a whooping on these foot ninjas. Those of you who like to collect the TMNT X Monsterverse stuff, or Universal Monsters, they're adding to the collection now. We've already obviously gotten the main four turtles, as well as Casey Jones, Splinter, and April in the line. Like that whole line is already out, but like they're adding to it. So we're also getting Raph as the Wolfman and Leo as Gillman, aka Creature from the Black Lagoon. As you can kind of see in the background here, we already have Leo, who was Igor, and then Raph as Frankenstein's monster, and we've also got Mikey as the Mummy, and not pictured, but Donnie as the Invisible Man. So I'm wondering, I'm curious to see what we'll end up getting Mikey and Donnie as. I would imagine one of them is probably going to end up being Dracula, and maybe someone else. Not sure who, but I'm sure Dracula is going to be in here at some point. for the TMNT movie aficionados, they're extending their Secret of the Ooze, or trying to, extend their Secret of the Ooze collection here. So we've got some foot ninjas, obviously, but then we also got Professor Perry holding on to the TCRI Ooze canister, but then you've also got him from earlier in the movie when he's wearing his jumpsuit out on the toxic waste site. We've also got Kino here in his training outfit for when he goes to try out for the foot. And then I could be wrong, we might already have this Shredder, but it also looks like they're going to be giving us this throne. So that's pretty cool. Now, this is something I'm really excited for, and I'm really looking forward to. They're going to be re-releasing the animated series 1/12 scale TMNT Brothers. But this time they're going to be single releases, and they all come with like more and different accessories. So like one of them is like Donnie back here with the like spinning staff, which is cool. Can't remember exactly what all other accessories that they said, but I think like Raph is coming with like this pizza dough head. There's going to be some updated sides for Raph. I think some pizzas and pizza slices and stuff for like Mikey and some of the others, but I'd be curious to see what all it is that they plan on releasing with all of them. And depending, I might end up trying to pick these up as well. So we'll see. I want to say is that it? Is that all we've got? I think that's all I've got for toy news. Give me just a second. I could be wrong. I think there was something else, but oh yeah, there is. Okay. So I'm just going to kind of go through this really quick. There was not a whole lot announced from McFarlane Toys, but he did show some stuff like right beforehand. And one of the things that I'm really excited for, but I know I'm not going to get, is this 6-pack of Batman's, movie Batmans. This is really cool. It's insane, just the amount of accessories and just all these Batmans together is pretty crazy. They all come with cloth capes, it looks like. So we're going to get, you're going to get Battinson. So what's cool is it comes with all 6 figures. It's going to come with a little, each one of them comes with their own stands, the McFarlane like little stand. But then it's going to come with one bat signal that actually lights up and has interchangeable discs, so you can have the different bat symbols to put, up in the air. So we've got Battinson here with his signal. You've got Bat Fleck here.
You're not sharing your screen, by the way. Just so
Oh, I'm not?
No.
What's? Oh, no. I thought I clicked share already.
No, you turned it off.
Oh. Okay. There we go. That's working, right?
Yeah, it's working now.
Okay, cool. All right. So, again, we've got all 6 Batmen here. We've got Battinson here with his bat signal. Comes with a cloth cape there. We've got Bat Fleck with his bat signal. Now, if you've been collecting DC Multiverse for a while, a lot of these are figures that we've already gotten. Definitely the Battinson, the Bat Fleck, and then the Christopher Nolan Batman. Why am I blanking on his name? Christian Bale. Christian Bale's Batman. Again, with his own bat signal here. The biggest update on all of them is that they have cloth capes. as opposed to like the normal plastic ones, or the like floppy plastic ones. But then this, don't get me wrong, I have never been a fan of George Clooney as Batman, but this figure looks kind of cool. Um, comes with the bat signal from those movies, but then this is definitely him in the suit. You even got the bat nipples. We've got Val Kilmer Batman. And we've got the Michael Keaton '89 Batman. Now this was also released, but I want to say there's some differences here. Looks like the belt, the head sculpt looks kind of weird though. I want to say that's mainly because I think this was everybody's gripe with it in general. And the general release is that it looks like a helmet here as opposed to like the one solid cowl like it was in the movies. So it just kind of looks like a bucket head on top of a neck here, but what can you do? And then if you couldn't tell, the bat signal in the back of all of these is the same, so it doesn't come with each one doesn't have like a unique one, mainly because they have more or less the same bat symbol.
Yeah, for those three, yeah, they do. But the other ones, you can see the difference.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But yeah, I mean that's almost all the toy news I want to say, and I think that's all I've got for toy news for the most part. Actually, no, I lied. There's one more that I wanted to show. For those of you who have the Mezco TMNT pre-ordered, this is what they look like. They look really good. Not gonna lie, I wish I had pre-ordered them. Maybe I'll try to catch them if they go back up. That's a hefty price for them, but I mean, overall they look pretty decent. Not gonna lie. But yeah. Okay. So we've gone through video games, gone through toys and comic books. What else do we got, sir?
The surprise you were telling me about. You said there was 2 DC movies that are coming out.
That's right. So
Animated movies, by the way.
Yes. There are 2 new. There's not, like we said, there's not a whole lot of movie news, but the movie news that we did get, not bad. So there are 2 new DC animated movies coming next year. The first of which is, oh wait, wrong thing. Sorry. The first of which is Watchmen. I'm super excited for this. I love the Watchmen. The show was really decent. The live action movie they came out with, although very different from the comic book, was pretty well done for the most part. I love the comic book quite a bit. I would like to see what they do with an animated movie for this, so I guess we'll see how that goes. And then the last one, this was more or less a surprise for you, bro.
You know what's crazy? I saw that and I didn't think anything of it.
No way.
I literally saw it today, like this morning. And okay. I looked at it, I'm like, oh, all right, so they're gonna, I didn't know it was gonna be a movie. That part wasn't up there. It just said Justice League Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, that's I want to say that this is what the Tomorrowverse is leading up to, is the Crisis on Infinite Earths. For those of you not in the know, DC's had a stream of animated movies coming out recently that they've dubbed the Tomorrowverse. That's the new continuity for their animated movies. They all interconnect and intertwine. And I believe that it's going to be culminating in the Justice League Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Should be a good one too.
I can't wait for
that. Tomorrowverse, the animations look really good. So I'm really hoping that's exactly what they're going to use it for. That animation. That's going to be exciting. I can't wait to see that. Did I just see Godzilla?
Yeah, so this was a piece of comic news that I forgot. There's a crossover between the like kaiju monsters um and the DC heroes. They're gonna be crossing over with Godzilla and I think King Kong and some of the other like some of those other monsters. Should be interesting. See how that turns out. Um, Zod's also getting a new book. And then I'm not going to show the trailer, but we can kind of talk about the trailer for the Marvels. You and I were talking about it a little bit before, but
That's probably one of the best trailers that I've ever seen. Not gonna lie to you, like it really had me interested. I don't care for Miss Marvel as much. Not really big on Captain Marvel, but boy, that trailer is probably one of the best trailers that I've ever seen. It made me want to go out there and watch it. Like I want to go see the premiere. That's how great that was.
yeah, it honestly it definitely did it did a good job of showing of making us want to go see the movie.
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious as to like what's up with this villain. I'm not sure who the villain's supposed to be.
Me either.
But the fact that it looks like she has the same kind of bangle that like Miss Marvel has
Mm-hmm.
leads me to believe that maybe these are supposed to be the quantum bands, uh, or possibly the nega bands. I'm not sure. Which would
I'm
be
s-
interesting.
I'm still mad about Miss Marvel's powers. I'm hoping that because I know they said I believe they said something about Terrigen in for the movie. So I'm hoping she actually gets hit with the Terrigen, and that's how we see her get like her power, her actual powers, with like
Mhm.
the embiggen. Um, not too thrilled on this whole band stuff with her because that's to me that's not her.
True. True. I mean, I'd be curious to see if they actually like make that sort of move and make it to where she actually has stretch powers. But the MCU is gonna do what the MCU do, which is they change certain stuff up just to kind of fit within the universe. So
Mm-hmm.
I guess we'll see.
Yeah,
Um,
great trailer though, really great trailer.
some of the other news out of SDCC in terms of like TV shows. They showed. Oh, sorry. Actually, before I go on to the TV shows, movies. They apparently showed 20 minutes of unseen footage from the new TMNT movie, which I've already been excited for this movie from the outset, and the fact that like it's inching closer and closer, and like I cannot wait. I cannot wait for that movie to come out. Like it looks really good. Like the cast in general, we were talking about this yesterday, but the cast is fire.
It is. They have a great cast. I'm not gonna name all the people, but honestly, my favorite one was definitely Jackie Chan. Everybody knows Seth Rogen's there too, but Jackie Chan is probably like my favorite cast of the whole thing because I love
Yeah,
Jackie Chan.
yeah. I and like hearing him in the trailer, talking to the boys, like I definitely was just like, oh yeah, that fits really well. That
Yeah,
fits very well.
yep. So that's that. I can't wait for that movie, man. Um, I'm really excited. I like we are long overdue for a Ninja Turtles movie. Like for me, I was really hoping that, especially like this is that's been talked about because they said they're gonna try to make a video game out of it too. Was the Last Ronin? But I honestly thought that would be the next movie that's gonna come out for Ninja Turtles would be the Last Ronin because it's so popular now, like very popular that a lot of people are hoping we get a movie out of that. But I'm glad they finally given us a new Ninja Turtles movie. And I can't wait. I really can't wait.
Yeah, man. Speaking of Last Ronin, that was actually something else that I actually just saw today. They announced that Last Ronin is actually getting a sequel. So they have a series out now called Last Ronin: The Lost Years,
Mm-hmm.
which is it's sort of a prequel to it, but at the same time, it's also setting up the sequel. So if you didn't know, uh, spoilers, everyone, for The Last Ronin. If you haven't read it or if you haven't like seen it, again, this is already at this point kind of an old book. So at the end of it, Mikey dies. Mikey's the last Ronin. He ends up dying. Finally defeating and getting revenge on the Foot for killing his family. At the end of that book, it shows April and her daughter Casey taking care of 4 baby turtles. And you can see the baby turtles. They're in like a big glass looking terrarium that's like domed, and it's got some like computers and other sciencey looking things next to it. So that was giving us the implication that, oh, she's going to, create some new turtles. Turns out in this, prequel/sequel series, The Lost Years, that's exactly what she did. And it shows her raising 4 baby turtles. I know the name of 3 of them. One of them, the one name always escapes me, but there are 4 turtles. They all look different. They all look, completely different. One's name is Yi. The other one's name is Uno. One is Odin, and the other one escapes me. Hang on a second. We'll see if I can find it. But I mean, they all look different. They all, I mean, at this point in the story, they're all basically babies. And they all call April Grammy April.
That's funny. The last one's name is Uno. So it's Odin, Moja, Yi, and Uno.
Moja. Okay. It was Moja that I couldn't remember. I knew Uno, but then and I knew Odin and Yi, but I forgot Moja. So those are the 4 new turtles. And in the sequel series, we're actually going to be following them as they've gotten older and are fighting a new threat. I think that's going to be kind of cool. It'd be really cool to see them as like grown-ups or as teenagers, like learning what it means to be, TMNT, learning what it means to be a family and protect the city, more or less. One interesting tidbit that I did hear today, because there was an interview on IGN with Kevin Eastman and then his team that helped him, with this book. All 4 of the turtles, they all have basically the same name. Their names are different languages for the word one, which is really interesting. And I think that they said that the reason for that was to sort of like teach them about what it means to be one or how to work as one. Something along those lines. But it's really cool. So that's also going to be something that's coming out. If not by the end of this year, I think next year.
It looks pretty good too. So I saw the art for it.
Yeah, they've been teasing their art for like some time now. I've seen them as babies, but like them as adults or teenagers even, looks pretty interesting. So, what else? What else have we got? So we talked about TMNT TV shows. Invincible season 2 coming soon. I believe that they dropped the trailer actually recently, and the trailer looks really good. Another thing that they actually just released a couple of days ago was like a one-off episode of Adam and Eve. I have not seen it yet. I plan on seeing it again soon, and I know that you were talking about trying to like get into it and watch it, correct?
Yeah, I haven't. Like I said, it was late when I ended up getting off, and then I fell asleep. So I was like, all right, I'll try to start it today, and I didn't. I'm not gonna lie to you.
No, it's all good. It's all.
I was
good,
watching
man.
the Batman.
I think you got some time before the season 2 comes out, and even still, like, you can catch up. So it's not a super long series on it because they didn't have very many episodes. I don't think, if I remember, it was only like 6 or 7. And then now
Okay.
with this, it just adds one more to it. But so overall, it's really good. I would highly recommend it. The comic book, I never read personally, but I have followed. Like I follow a YouTuber who like explains those things. So like it's really interesting, really good stories overall. Um, very like violent. So if you like violence, you might like that. Um, other than that, I mean, I don't. Oh, one other thing was I think
We're getting
it
a season
was
4 of Harley Quinn.
right. Season 4 of Harley Quinn is happening like next week, really
Mm-hmm.
soon. I just watched the trailer for it. Looks really funny. Same, looks like it's going to be the same sort of shenanigans that's been happening for the last 3 seasons. Only this time, I think Harley's like 100% like supposed to be a good guy, while Ivy is a villain, and they're trying to make it work. So I guess we'll see how that goes. It looks really funny. I enjoy watching it every week. So um, more movie news. They announced, or not announced, but gave us a trailer for Mortal Kombat Legends Cage Match, which is going to be centered around Johnny Cage. The trailer looks really decent. It kind of had, at least the vibe of the trailer was like they were making it like it was an 80s action movie sort of. So that should be interesting. I think he's like fighting, might be the Black Dragons. I'm not sure. Uh, but yeah, anything else that you could think of that we had to talk about for news?
Not for news, but I'm definitely ready to get into like the big topic now. Because
Okay.
we talked about the Marvels, and the Marvels is going to possibly leading from Secret Invasion.
Right. Okay, folks. So uh, no more SDCC news, but now we're going to start getting into the review portion of the podcast, where we'll be starting off with Secret Invasion. So, in case you haven't caught up on Secret Invasion, spoiler alert, we're going to be talking basically about the whole series up to this point, episodes 1 through 5. With next Wednesday being the finale of this series of television. So, uh, what are your like first thoughts on the show?
So first thoughts. First off, I'm glad to see Nick Fury's back. It's been a very long time since we had any kind of Nick Fury like sightings.
Mm,
So I'm gonna tell you now, I love the show. I think the show is really good. Um, we get to see a different aspect because we see the aliens, but now we're seeing scrolls. Like scrolls play a big part in Marvel, especially like the movies and stuff. Because we've seen a couple of them, like like I forgot which movie it was that we've seen in scrolls. But
Captain Marvel.
yes, um, so it's nice that they're getting their flowers. And man, should I don't know if you want to add on to it before I say what I want to say, because like this is like the thing that I wanted to talk about, and it's been bothering me since episode 2.
So, well, just in general, my overall consensus of the show, while it's shot very well and looks very good, and there are parts about it that I do like, I just don't. I'm still trying to figure out like what implications it has going forward. So they've they've more or less kind of given us a show where it's telling us like, hey, there's X amount of scrolls, and now they've all infiltrated uh, infiltrated, the U.S. government and other higher, forms of government with, in different countries, and like the only person who could do anything about it, or who knows anything about it, is Nick Fury. And then so Nick Fury comes back to Earth, which, don't get me wrong, love seeing Nick Fury back. and love seeing him do stuff, but I'm trying to figure out what is it that he can do to stop them.
Yeah, right now it looks like he can't do much.
Because right, exactly. It seems like he can't do much, and that the fact that he hasn't done much, even with being back, like he's
Hmm.
stopped. He stopped one catastrophe from happening, but that just rolled right into like, well, we have a backup plan. This is what we're about to keep doing. This is what we're going to do. So this thing is going to happen one way or another, which is the Skrulls are trying to more or less
Take
start.
over.
They're trying to start World War III. They're trying to start World War III so that every nation in the world will more or less blow each other up,
Hmm.
and the only people who will be left is them, so that they will take over Earth. Which is like, okay, I get it, but when we last saw the Skrulls in Captain Marvel, they were a fairly peaceful race. They were being hunted by the Kree, and they were promised that they were going to be found a homeworld, which they haven't in 20 some odd years, and or nearly 20 years or something like that.
Hmm.
And like,
they just adopted Earth's like atmosphere, so they live as, like you said, being like us.
well, they
They're
live
really
as Earthlings, and then the only other thing is like they became spies for Nick Fury. But like,
now what you're saying is this is where I think it's going. I think it's leading up to the Avengers New World Order, because this last episode, she was like, "Well, why do you just call the
Aven-
Avengers?"
Avengers
He's
New
like,
World
"Well, I
Order.
don't." Yeah. So
You mean
remember, they
Captain?
switched the name. No,
That's,
they switched the name of the movie. It's supposed to lead to an Avengers. No, no, sorry, you're right. Captain America.
I was gonna say
Captain
that's
America.
Captain America.
You're right. So I think that's where it's going. So now Sam and Bucky are going to figure out how to take care of this whole thing. Because remember, they said, "Well, why don't you just call the Avengers?" He's like, "Nah, it's just certain things you need. Like, there's no reason for them to really be a part of this." So I
Well,
think that's what it's leading up to.
and then it turns out that like the reason why Fury hasn't called the Avengers down was because he doesn't want the Skrulls to potentially capture them and then take their powers.
Hmm.
But then only for us to like find out though that apparently Fury has like the DNA of all the Avengers already and has been hiding it. So apparently it turns out that Gravik, who is the main bad guy for this TV show, um, has been searching all along for Fury's DNA cache of the Avengers so that he could, you know, turn him and all of his people into Super Skrulls.
Yep.
Which, again, spoilers if you didn't know, there's Super Skrulls in this. Him being the main one. Which that was one of the main things that I really liked about this was that they set that up super early, and then you could see how that got paid off.
Yep.
Because I want to say it was like episode 2 that that Talos's daughter Gaia,
Hmm.
she is more or less kind of she's more or less being a double agent in this whole thing, and like uh, goes to is basically getting information for Fury and Talos, and she goes to a computer in one of the labs, and sees that there are there's like DNA data in this computer. One for a Flora Colossus, which is Groot's species. One for Colobsidian, which was that big hulking monster or alien from Infinity War. A frost giant or like a frost giant type monster, and then the Extremis formula from Iron Man 2. Instantly, when I saw that, I was like, they're building Super Skrull.
Hmm. Same. I said the
like,
exact same thing.
like I was like, they're building a Super Skrull because like while they don't have the Fantastic Four in the MCU yet, you could see like where all of those powers were sort of like
lined up to it.
lined up to like be one of those powers from the Super Scroll. So, in case you don't know, if you're not a comic book nerd like us, Super Scroll is in the comics was a an individual from the Scroll race who was able to take the powers of the Fantastic Four. And so, because he took the powers of the Fantastic Four, he had all four of their abilities: the ability to stretch, the ability to generate heat and fire, the ability or the super strength, as well as the like rocky exterior and the ability to turn invisible / create force fields. It seems like so. After seeing that in episode 2, I could definitely kind of make the connections to like, oh, Groot's like root extensions. That's Mr. Fantastic. The Extremis, like the heat or the like fire manipulation. That's Human
Johnny Storm.
Torch. The super strength from Cull Obsidian. The super strength from the Thing, and then the only other one that's kind of like a little wonky is like
Sue.
is right the Frost Giant and Sue the Invisible Woman. So like it's not actual like invisibility powers or like force fields, but like maybe he'd be able to like create like ice structures to like make shields or whatever. So could be, not sure because they haven't manifested that yet, but it's definitely interesting, and I'm glad to see like that has started to pay off. I want to see him use all those powers together, and I think that's what we're going to see in episode 6.
Yeah, so we got a bit of it in episode 5, where remember when Fury shot him, jerked his head back, and you see him regenerate back.
I think that was
He
episode
used
4, but you're right. Yeah, we
yeah
just saw it recently.
yeah. You're right. It was 4. But to me, like one of the biggest things, like first off, I didn't like the eye patch. I mean, him not having the eye patch was kind of weird. Him with like, bro, put your eye patch on, please, because I don't want to see that eye.
That
And
weird
then
ass eye.
yeah, like so the funny thing is, I didn't realize that was Goose who took his eye. Goose the cat.
Oh yeah, that
Didn't
was
know that.
in
It was
that
in
was in
Captain Marvel, was it?
yeah, it was in Captain Marvel. He didn't like take it, but he like scratched him.
Yeah, they mess
And
up his eye.
and then I think it was might have been Talos was just like, ooh, you shouldn't have, because
Yeah,
Fury wasn't worried about it. And he was just like, ooh, you should get that looked at,
yeah,
because he knew like something bad was gonna happen, and it turns out like, which was like, it was funny,
it
but at the
was.
same time, it was like one of those things. It's like that's how you
Yeah,
messed
that's
up
how
your
you lose your
freaking
eye.
eye.
Yeah, like
It
what?
wasn't like it was because the way they made it sound in the when he said it before, he was just like, he's like the last person I trusted is how I wound up with only one eye, and it was just like, so the last person you trusted was the effing cat, and he scratched the shit out of you,
Alien
and
cat at that.
right, and that's why you don't trust anybody. Is the last person you trusted was a cat, and you took your eye. I was like, okay, hey.
To each their own. But
Right.
that's one thing, right? The second thing, this is where it got me. When I found out that Rhodey was a Skrull. So that
Mm.
makes me think that the actual Rhodey has died in Civil War.
I don't think that's necessarily true. Um, I think, for one, because I don't think they don't kill the people whose faces that they take. They just like have them like Invasion of the Body Snatchers, or like they put them in pods and shit, right? So that they can continue to like have their face in their memories and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah.
But I don't think Rhodey's dead, but
I, I think he is. And I think they try to keep him alive in here. So or his I want to say his memories
mm,
in here because when I saw Rhodey was a Skrull, it completely threw me off. I was like, nah, there's no way. Like, how did it then? How is he not here? And then the only thing I could think of, so it's either two things: either Rhodey is in like in a coma from the fall, or he died from that fall in Civil War.
Hmm. That'd be interesting. I'm curious. I'd be curious to see. But my theory on that, I think we've seen Rhodey all the way up until uh Endgame, and then I think somewhere between Endgame and Falcon and the Winter Soldier, he got kidnapped. Excuse me, and then taken so that he could be, his face could get, or he, a scroll could infiltrate his position and stuff. Um, Reason I say that is I just recently saw something that um, was saying how they think that maybe Sharon Carter from Falcon and Winter Soldier could
Mm-hmm.
be a scroll as well,
Ooh.
and that would explain the reason for her drastic change from when we last saw her to, or from when we saw her in Civil War to where we saw her in Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
That she could just be a scroll as well. So I'm thinking maybe obviously I'm thinking that uh,
They might tie into each other.
right, they might tie into each other. So you get like one person in the U.S. government, you get one person who's in the underground, sort of like power, the power broker, the sort of underground, shenanigans, crime lord type of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You have them working in cahoots and stuff. So that means like they already show that they have, you know, long stretching, influence and stuff because they have people in higher up government. What's to say that they don't in like the criminal underground and stuff as well? You know what I mean?
Yeah. So yeah, that's what made me think about that's possibly going to tie into Captain America. I can't wait for that though. I can't wait for that one either.
Yeah, dude. It'll definitely. I'm definitely curious to see how well that movie comes out because, like right now, obviously it's everything's on like delayed and pushed back and everything.
Yep.
But like from what I understand, I think that they're going to be introducing some of the Thunderbolts in that
Yep.
movie,
Mm-hmm.
and then I also want to see if indeed we do get um, Red Hulk,
Oh, that'd
especially
be
because from what I read or from what the reports say is that the leader is supposed to be like the more or less kind of big bad uh of that Captain America movie.
Mhm.
So if leader's involved, I would like to think that there's going to be some like gamma type things going on, and maybe he's trying to recreate a Hulk and like comes to or kidnaps Thunderbolt Ross and turns him into a Hulk. It'd be interesting.
It definitely will be interesting. I'm actually like it. They're doing a great job with this. I'm not gonna lie. Like they kind of fell off a little bit, but the comeback is getting better. So
I yeah, I would argue that I want to see them do some more setting up and uh trying to do some more in terms of like actually showing us where everything's going.
same,
Just because
same.
we haven't gotten a whole lot of that in the recent movies, everything just kind of seems disconnected. You know what I mean? It doesn't seem like a very connected universe like it used to be. But I mean, I guess only time will tell in the next couple of movies. Hopefully it is because like, the
No, they
TV
definitely
shows and the movies in general have just been kind of disconnected.
like. Oh yeah, like I well no well Miss Marvel no because Miss Marvel definitely put us into that. Well, this is what's leading up to the Marvels.
Right.
Um,
Obviously, there's that, and
yeah,
then hopefully, possibly X Men. We'll see.
yeah, hopefully possibly X-Men. Um, but I know that like season episode 6 definitely has to be bringing us something good. Uh,
Mhm.
that's why I can't wait for Wednesday. Wednesday got to hurry up and get here because I want to see this last episode. I'm hoping, like I
Right.
said, it leads up to what we're thinking of. Well, what I'm thinking of is Captain America. So yeah,
Yeah,
that
man.
was my my rundown on that. And like I said, it's definitely a good show. Give it a watch. Like definitely hopes it runs into where we want it to run into, where it goes into a movie, like you were saying.
Yeah, I'm definitely curious to see if and how this is going to tie into the Marvels because I mean, obviously, we see in the Marvels that Nick Fury's there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if maybe that means maybe this possibly takes place before that. Like if Marvels takes place before Secret Invasion,
Yeah.
or I don't know. Who knows? I guess we'll see. I mean, we'll have to wait and see episode 6 because maybe it leads in directly into it. Maybe it doesn't. Who knows? Well, next on the agenda for reviews today is My Adventures with Superman, the new cartoon on
Slash
adults
anime.
slash anime, airing on Adult Swim every Thursday at midnight, but then also like
On
premieres on
Max.
Max, which is where I've been catching it, is on Max.
Same.
This show, man, I like it quite a bit. I like it a lot, actually, a lot more than I thought I would. Um, I don't know if it's just the anime elements to it, if it's the art style, the sort of reimagining of things of like Superman's like mythos or history, but like it's it is really damn good. I really like it.
Now, if you know me, you know I absolutely despise Superman. I hate him with a passion. If in any game I can kill off Superman, I'm doing it. Okay, but this show is really good, and this is coming from a Superman hater. This show is really good. Like, it's definitely like you said, it's the animation, that anime type feel, great. Um, the storyline, really good. The very last episode, very, very interesting. I'm mad she find out. Oh, I'm sorry, guys. I'm spoiling it, but I'm mad that she put that two and two together so fast. But man, oh my gosh, I can't wait for the next episode. I got to see what she does. I have to see what Lois do.
Right. Yeah. So again, spoilers if you haven't seen episode 1 through 4, I think it is.
Yes,
If you
yes.
haven't seen episode 1 through 4 of My Adventures with Superman, spoilers, spoilers, spoilers. But like this last episode was really, really like it was good. They did something new with Parasite, which I wasn't like really expecting. I halfway
Yeah,
thought that he was going to become a Mazo,
that's what I
but
thought.
when he said the Parasite one, I was like Parasite. So now that's leading me to believe like if he gets better or if he breaks out of the hospital or whatever, maybe he's going to use some of that technology and then create a Mazo.
Mm-hmm.
Um, or if he's just going to be Parasite himself, like maybe that tech affected him somehow to where he's able to absorb powers and abilities or something. Who knows? But like, it was definitely a twist on what I know Amazo to be, or not know Amazo, but know Parasite to be, which is something that this series seems to be doing is like taking the origins of some, especially the villains, like taking the origins of the villains and like just redoing them, making them something different than what we know.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Definitely a
which is
nice
cool,
revamp.
which is right, which is fine with me. I'm all for it, especially like you showed me like new and interesting ways as to how it happens. Cool.
Yes,
And so
spoiler on that
far,
too. We don't get
spo-
Lex Luthor yet. Just put that out there. But
right, yeah, we haven't gotten Lex Luthor yet, but who we have gotten, we've gotten Livewire. Um, we got Parasite, and then who was it in last week's episode?
last week's episode, the crazy part is the person who was supposed to be that I thought it was supposed to be, it wasn't. I see, like, the person who always thought had like the alien technology was Bruno
No,
Mannheim. It's not Bruno Mannheim.
right.
Well, it was Livewire. Um, who was the last week's
But
villain?
no, she last week was Intergang, but was Intergang. Now that I'm remembering it, it was Intergang, but it wasn't Bruno Mannheim. It was Mist, who was the guy who could go invisible.
Mm-hmm.
So like his powers were way different. Um,
It was,
Silver Banshee.
yes, I want to say it was three of them. It was a group. It
Mhm,
was one girl and two guys,
right,
and the brute kind of messed up everything. I didn't know who they were, but then it came out that I didn't figure it was Silver Banshee.
right. Yeah, no, I I remembered Silver Banshee as soon as like her name popped up. I was like, oh, I think that's Silver Banshee. And then I looked up and saw who the other guys were. The other one was Mist, the guy who could go invisible. Um, and then the other one, I can't remember what his name is. I mean, he's somebody else in the comics too, but like he's not like a big name from Superman comics in general.
Yeah.
So like, but they called themselves Intergang, which was weird because like Intergang doesn't just go rob banks and stuff. But I was just like, hey, whatever. It's new and it's different.
Yeah.
It seems like the alien or like the technology has a lot to do with potentially being stuff that they may have gotten from like aliens or alien technology,
Mm-hmm.
possibly even from Krypton. So I'm curious to see how that goes. Um,
Same. I'm very curious too, but man, the one thing we talked about, which is hilarious, was when he transforms into Superman.
yeah,
That
that was really funny.
that comparison is hilarious. I gotta admit that was a funny comparison because it definitely reminds you of Sailor Moon.
Yeah, if you guys again, if you guys don't know, so the first time that Superman dons his suit, he has to go. He goes to his well, at this point, I'm assuming it's the fortress, but
Yeah.
they don't call it that. He doesn't spend much time there.
No.
He tried to when he was younger, but then he got scared and then like left, never went back. He finally went back when he was older. Um, you see the you see the hologram projection of Jor-El, and he's trying to talk to Superman, or he's trying to talk to Clark. Can't understand him because he's speaking Kryptonese, and Clark don't speak that. So ultimately, he brings him down into the fortress, and is trying to talk to him, but then shows him like some stuff. And then all of a sudden, like freaking Clark, there's a whole Sailor Moon sequence of him transforming into Superman, and it's both the funniest and like kind of coolest thing that I've ever fucking seen, especially when it comes to Superman. So it's just like his eyes glowed blue, and then his clothes, like I don't remember if they just like like vaporized or like were like torn off or what. But then like you see the blue suit just manifest itself around him, and then a big long flowing cape, come out and stuff like that. And then he comes out, and then he looks a little bit more like at that point he looks a little bit like the New 52 Superman because he's got no trunks, no belt. And then his
No,
mom's just like,
he has the
no,
trunks.
he doesn't have the trunks,
Oh, you're
because then his mom's just like, you need some shorts. It's like
you
we're gonna put some shorts on you and maybe a belt. And then you see her, she helps him, she makes the trunks and the belt for him. So it's kind of cool. It was really nice.
it
Um,
was. I'm telling you, it's definitely a must watch. Like
yeah.
I'm excited for it. I honestly can't wait till Thursday. Like we finally are getting some good shows.
Um, that's one of the things I really like about the show in general is like it's got the anime feel to it, and it's mainly because of like the anime tropes that they put into it. Um, where the biggest thing, and I would say like maybe the probably the best thing is the dynamic between Lois, Jimmy, and Clark. It follows them as they're like new young interns at the Daily Planet. Um, Jimmy and Clark were already like friends or whatever, but then they meet Lois and like they all kind of hit it off, and they're all just trying to get the story. So like I cannot wait to see more of it. I got a question from a friend of mine that says, "Why do you despise Superman?" I just saw this.
So the reason why I despise Superman is because I mean, all right, first of all, I think the lamest thing is that his weakness is his own planet. Like I understand he's on a different planet, the planet gives him his superpowers. Cool. Understandable. His own planet is the one that destroys him. That's one. Two, to me, he's a I guess it's because I'm a night well, I'm part of like the Bat family, like fan. He's easily beatable. very easily beatable. Because the kryptonite is not hard to find. Like it's literally running around. Like I don't know. I just never been a fan. I never liked Superman. I never liked him. I can't I, like that. I guess it's because he's overpowered. That's why. He's an overpowered superhero. That's the same reason why I don't like Wolverine. Overpowered.
I'm going to argue with you about that later, but no, I'm just playing.
Wh-
Uh,
Which one?
what
The
about
Wolverine one?
Wolverine?
He's overpowered.
How dare you not like Wolverine? He's not overpowered.
Oh,
Um,
Wolverine is. Oh, what stops Wolverine?
Lots of stuff to stop Wolverine.
Me throwing him in the boiler is not going to stop him.
He can get killed. He can get his head cut off with Muramasa blade.
Who has the Muramasa blade?
Currently, I don't know. Actually, currently he does. So I take that back because they had that event where it's called Ten of Swords, and he has the Muramasa blade. But
And then
um,
the only other thing that's stronger than adamantium is vibranium, which you're not getting access to.
I don't think he's overpowered though. But
That man is overpowered.
he's died a few times. But um,
Yeah, that's like my biggest hate towards him is that he's overpowered, and the only thing that can kill him is something he came from. Like that doesn't make sense to me.
now
And
I
magic,
right. Well,
which I'll give you. I'll give you the
magic.
magic. Okay, cool. That sounds cool. That I can beat Captain Marvel and I can beat the shit out of. Oh, excuse me. I can beat the heck out of Superman.
Yeah, I see. I've never been a big Superman fan either. And you know that.
Hmm.
My biggest gripe with Superman is uh definitely like the overpowered thing of him. Um, just because it's just like, okay, well, is him being overpowered, and then there are things that can hurt him or that can stop him that seem really ridiculous when you think of how powerful he is. So
And that
it's
bothers me.
right. It's that he's super powerful, but then there's a radioactive rock, and that's actually like a piece. It's a meteorite from his homeworld, that's been radiated and can freaking kill him. Um, can harm him, can hurt him, or can do whatever because there's different variations of it. So it's just like, okay, that's kind of ridiculous. And then on top of that, the one person who hurts him the most, tends to hurt him the most, is a powerless, billionaire genius who has a crap ton of this kryptonite, so much so that he makes a whole suit that's powered by it. So like,
It
okay,
wasn't it was Lex who created Metallo too, right?
I don't know if Lex necessarily created Metallo. If he did, I could be wrong about that. It's possible that he did, but either way, like Metallo's also powered by kryptonite. Not to mention, what is the name of the monkey or the gorilla that
Uh,
is kryptonite powered as well?
I'm thinking of Grodd, but it's not Grodd.
No, it's not Grodd. It's some other. I can't remember
It's
what
the
his
one with the
name is.
brain, right? It's him in the brain. Mansur
No,
Mala.
no, 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 no. Now there's so many gorilla villains in DC that's kind of weird. There's Monsieur Mala, there's Grodd, there's Ultra Humanite, and then the other one I cannot remember what his name is, but he's powered by kryptonite as well. But either way, like, so the kryptonite is just like ridiculous to me. But then not only that, but like ultrasonics harm him, which like it makes sense, but it's like if I have a high enough pitch, if I can find something with high enough pitch, I can make his ears bleed. Like, um,
That doesn't make sense.
and then
There's another one
uh,
too, outside of magic.
well, magic. I give magic just because like magic itself, especially within DC Comics, is like a workaround for a lot of stuff. Is kind of like the ace up its sleeve of almost every magician. They have something that's going to help them in some way, shape, or form. It's sort of like the cheat code to a lot of stuff.
And then the funny thing is, I don't know if anybody ever realized this, but Superman gets his ass beat. He gets beat up so much. So in each, like in different variations, Aquaman beats him,
Mm-hmm.
Martian Manhunter beats him, Batman beats him. Well, Batman plus Green Arrow. Well, is Batman beats him? Batman plus Green Arrow beats him. Captain Marvel beats him. It's
Wonder
like,
Woman
yo, like,
could beat him.
yeah, well, no, we're not gonna talk about Wonder Woman is a different species. That's a straight up toe to toe fight. Like they're gonna go at it, and I would love to see that fight because Diane is nothing to play with. She's a dog.
Yeah, she is. She got that dog in her.
Yeah, she definitely got that dog in her. So that's why I love that movie. Not Public Enemies. Doomsday. Was it Doomsday? No, it wasn't Doomsday. Justice League Doom, where
Oh
Mary
yeah,
Master
yeah.
gets how to defeat each one,
Mm-hmm.
and the only way you're beating her is if you sit there and you make her fight 24 hours straight. Like she has to tire herself out. When she's tired out, then you can go get her,
Right.
which
Yeah.
it makes perfect sense for her.
Yeah. Because like there is one other weakness that she has that I don't know if it's still something that's in the comics, but one of her weakness or like a classic weakness of hers is her own lasso. Like
I'm not surprised.
she can't resist the power of the lasso,
Nobody
so
can
she could be tied down by it.
unless you're Batman. But we're not gonna talk about that either. This man, that man's him himself is a whole cheat code. They knew what they were doing with him. But yeah, that's the main reason why I don't like Superman. Like he has too many flaws to be this overpowered character.
True,
It,
true. But then at the same time, like I respect Superman. I respect what Superman represents because he is the first superhero, more or less. You know, he's definitely the first like mainstream superhero.
mm-hmm.
He's the template for which all superheroes are made. And like I think you and I've definitely talked about this. I know I've talked about it before in some of our like league chats and stuff like that on TCUO, but like the reason like I dislike Superman, but I respect him because of what he represents, and is that he is the template for all superheroes. Um, he has all the abilities, and the fact that like now in the comics they are making him super OP, like so OP. Um, they're making him so OP, like to the point where like time and space no longer mean anything to him. You know what I mean? Like
Now you
it.
hold on. Now this is where I'm like I'm not gonna cut you off, but this is where I'm gonna tell you where it gets even worse for Superman. He's not the one. He's OP, but his son is even worse than he is. He doesn't have a weakness. So like kryptonite doesn't bother him because he
True.
has the human. He's a human. He's half human. Um, even though his son gets beat up a little more often than he does, but they made him to where like like this whole Superman stuff is ridiculous. So I'm like, oh, like this is like the more and more I see Superman stuff, the more and more I really hate Superman. But I would like you said, I respect like what he stands for. The only Superman that I really like is Injustice when he's a villain, and it's funny because all right, first off, he lobotomized Captain Marvel, which is that to me that was comical. But seeing the villain side of Superman and him not like, you know what, I'm not holding back on nobody. That's the Superman I like when he's like, I'm not holding back. So like that fight in Justice League when he fought Doomsday
Mm-hmm.
and he didn't have to hold back. That's the Superman
Oh
I like.
wait, Dooms. You talking about
Not
Doomsday or
Doomsday,
you
not
talking
Doomsday. I'm a Dark
Dark
Side.
Side?
Dark Side. When
Man,
he didn't hold back on Dark Side.
yeah, I can agree with you there because like that's probably the when I like Superman the most is when he's like I don't have to hold back
Mm-hmm.
because I understand that the humility and the humanity of him is like the fact that he has all this power and that he holds back so that he doesn't hurt people. But just once, you know, like again, like you said, like with like the Injustice Superman, or like when we saw him in that episode on in JLU, where he
Mm-hmm.
doesn't hold back. That's what I want to see out of a superhuman character, is them going all out. And
Exactly.
I think that comes from my love of anime, because anytime in anime, that's like one of the biggest tropes, especially in shonen anime, is like
Oh,
oh,
very
I get to,
huge.
that I get to go all out, like they freaking, they no holds barred, they freaking go, nonstop, or they put their full power on display, or that they go their full, you show them your full power, or they show you their full power, and then eventually another threat comes where they have to rise above that threat
Mm-hmm.
and go even further. That's the
That's the whole story of the
well,
shonen.
that's the Dragon Ball like trope, is like, I'm getting stronger, and then I'm just going to keep getting stronger and stronger, and then that's all shonen like, is like, freaking, I mean, Naruto, dude, how many times did he transform into new forms, or and then it's the same with like My Hero right now, is like, you know spoilers for My Hero, guys, if you haven't caught up with the manga or the anime, but like, he was getting new powers, and like he keeps just getting stronger and stronger. It's like that's the sort of stuff that I like to see, and like that's why I said I'm especially now I'm respecting Superman, because you can see that his powers are increasing, and that's what I like to see. Is I like to see like a threat gets so big that you need to match it or go beyond plus ultra to to match or to beat that threat. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that is, I think, the thing that I like. I would like to see more out of Superman, because him fighting like a monster, or like, stopping a robber and stuff like that, that's just like, you know kind of underwhelming. But I think that's just my personal preference.
Or fighting freaking Lex. Like, bro, like finding a better big bad for Superman. Like
Well, and like in the comics now, Lex
a villain.
isn't a villain to him anymore. Like, I mean, Lex is locked up in jail, but Lex is more of an ally to Superman now. So he's
Good, because
not
I'm
he's
tired
not
of
like,
seeing Lex.
yeah.
I like Lex though. Like Lex is funny. Like he's hilarious, especially in comics, movies, shows. Which I was gonna dive into like Superman and Lois, but I'm not going to, because even though I really want to talk about the very last episode, because but Lex is hilarious. Like he's really funny, but they needed a better big bad for Superman. Like that's why I like when they introduced Darkseid, especially in the Justice League cartoons, because like I
Hmm.
said, fight, like show Superman to his full potential, like we're
Right.
supposed to see, not this. Oh yeah, I'm just gonna hold back because they're weaker than me, and I just want to stop the crime. No, beat the hell out of somebody, Superman. Let me see the real you, because we
Right.
see that full display on Batman anytime. Anytime you see Batman, you get that full display of Batman.
That's true. But that's because, I mean, well, Batman always has to rise to the occasion. You know what I mean? It's
Exactly.
always him having to rise to the challenge. You know, in one way, shape, or form, and most of his books is him having to, overcome, some form of obstacle, whatever it may be, in order to, you know, even though, like, and I know a lot of people will be like, well, his nemesis is just a dude in clown makeup. It was like, yeah, true, but
Who has no
like,
identity.
right, who has no idea? Well, he does actually now.
Now he does, but there's still three.
Yeah.
There's still three of them running around.
Mm-mm. No,
Oh, they made it to one now.
no. So it was always just one. Um, the two that, at least from this comic book and from this particular from that particular timeline or whatever, or storyline or whatever it is, the other two were just like not clones, but like he jokerized some other fools and
Mm-hmm.
like implanted like memories in them, so that they would all
Okay,
think that they were the Joker.
that
um
makes sense.
but but there was always only one like real Joker. But
Okay.
like either way, like it's, you know I can understand like people's gripes with like, oh well, his biggest foe is a guy in clown makeup or whatever, and it's just like, yeah, that's true, but then this guy's also like a psychopath with no morals, um, who's willing to do any and everything to just get to Batman, and it's
Yeah,
not like not to it's so that it. There was a recent story where it was like he literally he found Joe Chill, the person who killed Batman's parents. He found Joe Chill, basically brought him to Bruce Wayne so that they could talk, they could have a one-on-one, and they could work out all this trauma that Joe Chill caused caused in Bruce Wayne's life. Bruce Wayne forgives him for what he did, and then Joker kills Joe Chill, and then looks at Batman and is just like, now I'm the only one. He tells him like, he's like, now that you've resolved all your trauma from your childhood, now I'm the only one who's gonna be torturing you for the rest of your life.
it is you and I. Me, that's
Literally,
it. It's you and I.
literally, that's exactly what it was. It was like 100. He was just like, I was just like, geez, that's
Yes.
freaking, that goes deep. You really
Speaking
gotta
of,
hate or
every-
love someone to do that.
that's now from when you said that, it just reminds me of like all the Robins that he tortured. Well, not all, 'cause he only got to really two.
Mm.
Um, they tried to put Grayson in there, but he didn't really get the Grayson like that. And then here comes the assassin himself and captures Joker and beats him with his own crowbar, which makes it even more funny. It's like, yeah, you're not capturing me. I'm capturing you, and I'm gonna beat you with your own crowbar. I was like, yeah, I love this kid, but yeah, we're not gonna talk about that either. Like, because then we have that whole debate on who's the best Robin, and we've been having that debate recently, and I still think it's Damien.
We'll,
Everybody, I love Grayson.
we'll have that debate on a future episode because
Yeah,
well,
'cause that needs to be talked about. I gotta see other people's opinions on who the best Robin is. I'm still like I'm gonna say the OG, but in all honesty, the best Robin is Damien. But we're gonna save that for later. So I would love to explain my side of the story of why, because I know what people are gonna. I have a feeling I know a lot of people are gonna say Tim
because he is,
but he's not.
but he is. Either
I'm gonna,
way,
yeah, I can point out a
we'll
lot of things.
yeah, we can get more into that later. But um, one last point of one last point before we go, and it's going to be a movie spoiler, and I'm not going to not go too deep into it. It's a movie review rather. I'm not going to go too deep into it because my lovely co-host here hasn't seen it yet. I'm just going to give my quick thoughts on it. Um, it's the Flash movie. I know that a lot of people probably haven't seen it. Judging by the box office, I don't think hardly anybody saw it. I went and saw it when it first came out. Um, Honestly, I wish I would have waited until it came on digital or I'm sorry, until it got on Max because then I would have watched it then. Um, Not a movie I really wanted to waste my money on, to be honest. In general, it was a pretty decent movie. There's a lot of cool stuff going on in there. The story was not bad. The biggest thing that I could say, and spoilers again, there's no way you wouldn't have known that this was part of the movie, but in case you didn't, Michael Keaton Batman was hands down like the best part of that movie,
No surprise.
because we got like a mini Batman Returns again. You know what I mean? So it was like it almost would have been like a prequel to the movie that we would have gotten for him to return like on his own. But unfortunately, I don't think we'll ever get that. But it was cool to see him back in the cowl and doing him. Um, it was definitely like my favorite part of the movie was him. Some of the stuff with Flash in general was not bad. I still think he looks goofy AF running.
Oh my
Um,
god, that's like my biggest flaw. Like that's one of my biggest flaws. Not that's my biggest. I bro.
for
Like why are you ice skating? Like oh my
he's
god.
not ice skating because I've never seen anybody ice skate like that, bro.
But he's
Um,
pumping his arms like he's doing like
he's swimming.
ah,
He's doggy paddling.
oh, get out of here. Like what are you doing? Like
Like
oh
for a man whose sole power is that he can run really effing fast. Like the way that he runs really kind of hurt my brain. At one point in the movie, I actually saw him like running normal. I
mhm.
was like, yes, keep doing that. But then they changed it again. So I was just like, oh, okay.
I
Um,
can't I can't wait for this to be in the past because that shit is terrible. Like I'm gonna watch it when it comes to Max. I'm really waiting. I wasn't spending my money to watch that garbage. I hate Ezra Miller. I think they could have found a better cast. I rather them had casted Grant Gustin. I thought that's what they were gonna do when they found out that he had a problem. When they all right, so when they intertwined the shows, not sure I want to say shows, but when they intertwine like they try to put like the whole universe together, which is horrible too. But that episode was really good for the Flash TV CW. I think they should have just went to make Grant Gustin like, hey, Ezra's out. We would like to have you in. We've seen your work. You did a pretty great job. Do you mind being a Flash for this movie?
right.
I really feel like that's what they should have done.
Yeah, I think a lot of fans thought that same way, and I definitely thought that too. And even if, again, like the whole stuff with Ezra Miller, um, I think that's a big factor into why it didn't make much money. Is a lot of people were just like, I don't want to see this dude play the Flash. There's that. There's the fact that like leading up to it, that's when the WGA strike started. So like there was no late night television or like any of those sort of like some sort of press tour type things for people to go on and like promote the movie.
Mm-hmm.
But they've been promoting this movie for the last like 3-4 years, so like everybody knew it was a thing. I think that if people really wanted to watch it, they would have gone to see it.
Yep.
Um, and the fact that they didn't speaks volumes. So like, I really think that a lot of it has to do with Ezra Miller in general,
It
as well
does.
as like not having like a clear vision as to like where this is going to lead to. At the same time, like again, for a movie in general, it's not bad. But the biggest thing, like the best thing out of a Flash movie, if it's not the Flash and it's Batman instead, you might have a problem. So,
Yeah, and
um,
it's not even just a Batman. It's a Batman that we saw 30 years ago, 40 years ago, actually. Yes. No, 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 it's not even 40 yet.
I was gonna
It's
say
30
I'm,
years, 30 plus years
I
ago.
was gonna say I'm not 40 yet, so I know that
Yeah,
that movie.
I'm not 40 yet either. So yeah, I'm gonna say 30 plus years ago. That's bad.
Yeah,
That is really bad.
yeah, that's true. I don't. I mean, I guess going forward, we'll just have to wait and see like what's gonna come of the new DCU. Um, so that being said, I'm real excited for Blue Beetle to come out. I can't wait to see that movie.
Same.
It looks like it's going to be a fun time. Looks like it's going to be good in general. I see him using big, huge anime swords, so like that's going to be pretty sick.
I can't wait. I can't watch them use the cannon.
Right, or put his arms together and just
Yep.
pretty sick.
That's what I can't wait for. But yeah. Honestly, like I said, I'm gonna see it when it comes to HBO Max, but I'm really looking forward to Blue Beetle. That's a character that's definitely slept on is Blue Beetle and how
Uh,
strong he is.
yeah, I love me some Blue Beetle. I love specifically Jaime Reyes. Kind of seems like he's going to be more or less like it kind of seems like they're trying to push him as being more of the like DC Spider-Man, which is cool
Mm,
with me. Um, in some ways, especially his more in the more recent comics and stuff, I feel like they've definitely been kind of like making him into that where he's like the young, you know, young hero who, like, he's still, working out the kinks between being a superhero and um a being a teenager and stuff. So that'd be kind of cool to see on the big screen,
Okay,
especially
I see
because he's
why you
got
said
this
that.
alien technology and stuff. So
Yeah, okay, yeah, that makes perfect sense. So I'm gonna say, no, can't see it, because the face of Marvel is
Spider-Man.
yes. So, but when
Well,
you
yeah,
broke it down
not
like that,
definitely not. No, definitely not in that way because
yeah, we all
everybody
know who the
knows
face of DC
face
is.
of DC is Superman. So like,
Batman.
it's the Trinity really, but
But yeah, but the real face, everybody knows the real face of DC is Batman. That nothing can survive without Batman being in it. Hence, that's why they put Batman in a lot of those New 52 movies.
that's true. That's definitely true. And in the Flash.
Yeah, and in the Flash. If you don't have Batman, no, everybody like, no, I don't care.
And that's kind of why, like, I feel like that's probably why Batman, like, over the last few years in the comics, has had a lot of like comic titles that tied into like his, or where he tied into a lot of the stuff. I mean, metal, all of metal, whether it's Dark Knights or death metal, like all
All
like
Batman.
stems from like Batman. So
Yeah, we can't talk about that right now either because still, like my favorite moment is he strapped the Flash to the Batmobile.
and drove into a lightning storm.
Just so he can access the Speed Force.
That's pretty insane. And all of those are pretty insane. I mean, at one point, I think we'll probably dive into a little bit of death metal, especially because we're talking about that one video game that might be coming soon. So,
Yeah, that's
but
only a mobile game, but we didn't, which I didn't talk about because I wanted to get more information on it first before I actually bring it up.
right, yeah, there's not a lot of information on it. So, I mean, either way, well, I think that's about all we've got for today, man. I mean, we just spent 3 hours talking about SDCC and reviewing the crap out of some TV shows and movies and all that good stuff. So, you got anything else to add before we go?
No, that was the gist of what we had planned for the day. And just want to say, thank you to everyone who came and watched, and for the people who's going to watch later, thank you guys. And we truly appreciate you guys. I hope you enjoy this because
Yeah,
next week we'll definitely have something. So if you want us to talk about something, please feel free to drop something. We'll look at it and we'll definitely tie it in to talk about it.
yeah. Just kind of piggybacking off what he just said. Yeah, thank you guys very much for stopping in to watch. If you watched it live, or if you're gonna, watch it on the replay. This was really fun. Me and him have been talking about doing this for quite a while, so like we're excited to do it and trying to get it rolling like every week from now on. So that would be pretty great. Leave us a comment. Let us know if there's anything you want us to talk about, or if you're curious about anything. If you want to join the live show, we'll be doing this again next week, probably around the same time, 3 p.m. Central, 4 p.m.
Eastern.
Eastern. Other than that, I think we are done for the day. Thank you, class. Class dismissed.